A single gunshot echoes through the air, starting a desperate mission. The man who pulled the trigger is Nie Yan. His eyes are cold and steady as he aims at his target. The bullet hits. A heavy man in an expensive suit, Chairman Cao, stumbles back. Blood spreads across his chest. He falls. Panic breaks out. Bodyguards rush to their boss, shouting his name. Others quickly turn and fire at Nie Yan. His mission is complete, but he knows he will not survive. Bullets tear through his body. As he lies on the ground, bleeding, Nie Yan looks at Chairman Cao with quiet satisfaction. He tells him that in death, everyone is equal. No matter how rich or powerful a man is, he can still die from a single bullet. Cao Xu's great wealth could not save him. With his last breath, Nie Yan says his revenge for his parents is finally complete. But as his life fades away, he cannot stop wondering why fate was so cruel. Why did it take everything he loved? He reaches toward the fading light, refusing to accept this end. His spirit screams in defiance. He will not give up. His body seems to fall into endless darkness. Then, suddenly, a small light appears. An eye opens. Nie Yan's eyes snap open in shock. He is lying in a bed, not in a pool of blood. He is unharmed. He quickly sits up, his heart racing. He clearly remembers being shot by Cao Xu's bodyguards. So how is he alive? He looks around and freezes. This is his old, small apartment from his student days. Has he been sent back in time? A news report on the small TV catches his attention. It talks about the launch of a new virtual reality game called Conviction. The servers have just opened. His eyes widen. This confirms it. He really has returned to the past. He picks up a dusty photo frame and looks at a picture of himself and his parents. The memory is both sweet and painful. Back then, his parents traded special metals at the border. When the government later bought those metals at a high price, they made a huge profit. With that money, his father started a smelting company. Their family became rich almost overnight. They lived in luxury and had everything they wanted. But the good days did not last. When Nie Yan was 25, Cao Xu's Century Financial Group targeted his father's company. The friends his father trusted were bribed and turned against him. The business collapsed and went bankrupt. His father could not accept the failure and ended his life. His mother died soon after from heartbreak. Nie Yan was left alone. Looking at his reflection now, he admits that growing up rich had made him lazy. He wasted his youth. Only after losing everything did he choose to risk his life to take Cao Xu down with him. But now, he has been given a second chance. His eyes burn with determination as he clenches his fist. This time, he will not lose anything, and he knows exactly where to begin. The game Conviction was a holographic virtual reality game that would change the world. It attracted many powerful financial groups. It was also the foundation of Cao Xu's empire. The game quickly became humanity's second world. In his past life, Nie Yan was not just an ordinary player. He was a legendary level 180 great thief. He quickly grabs his phone and checks the date. It is July 25, 2025. Conviction has only been open for 7 days. A deep sense of relief fills his heart. It is not too late. He still has time. This is his perfect chance to rise again. He thinks carefully. At this early stage, the highest player on the leaderboard should only be around level 5. With all his memories and experience from the future, catching up will not be difficult. He remembers that his younger self still had some savings at this time. He checks his bank account. There is just enough money to buy a basic gaming helmet. His hand tightens into a fist. His knuckles turn white. He thinks of Cao Xu, the man who destroyed his family. A cold anger settles deep in his heart. With a clear goal in mind, he changes his clothes and leaves the apartment. This time, he will change everything. Later that night, the light in his small apartment remains on. Under the full moon, it shines like a silent promise. With the gaming helmet in his hands, he knows he is 7 days behind other players. But he is not worried. With his knowledge of the future, he will defeat every rival and stand at the very top of Conviction. Without hesitation, he puts on the helmet. He is ready to return to the world he once ruled. His awareness fades from the real world. A system window appears in front of him. He is entering Conviction.
The first step is creating his character. A large world map appears in front of him, asking him to choose his starting country. The world of Conviction is divided into 3 main factions. The first is the lawful good righteous faction. It includes the Viridian Empire and the Citrine Empire. The Viridian Empire is a human nation ruled by a council of elders. It is home to classes like clerics, mages, and assassins. The Citrine Empire is a tribal alliance made up of proud dwarves, fierce orcs, and elegant elves. The second faction is the lawful evil dark faction. It is formed by demon and undead tribes ruled by powerful dictators. The third option is the neutral faction. It is for players who prefer a peaceful path and includes races like the giant tribes. Nie Yan does not hesitate. In his past life, he chose the Viridian Empire and played as a Gale thief. He spent years working hard on that character. He knows every skill and quest by heart. Choosing the same class again will help him use the knowledge from his rebirth. With confidence, he selects the Gale Thief class under the Viridian Empire. The system confirms his choice. Next, he moves to the naming screen. He types in his new name, Nirvana Flame. The name represents his rebirth from the ashes of his past life. The system confirms again. Character created, Nirvana Flame. He enters the game and appears in Cao City, the main city of the Viridian Empire. A familiar status window pops up in front of him. Level 1 Thief. 5 stat points available. A small smile appears on his face. The feeling is back. But this time, he knows exactly what to do. Without wasting time, he adds 3 points to strength and 2 points to agility. In his past life, he made mistakes when building his character and lost valuable time. He will not repeat that error. He looks around the busy city square. The teleport area is crowded with new players starting their adventures.
Some players are already trying to sell items. One player is shouting loudly, trying to sell a common dagger for 2 copper coins, claiming it is much better than the starter weapon. Nie Yan smirked. He knew that same dagger was sold in a nearby town for just 1 copper coin. In his past life, he had foolishly fallen for that scam. But not this time. He remembered everything. Just then, another merchant caught his attention. A level 3 player named Silent Paladin was shouting, trying to sell a stealth skill book. He called out to all the rookie thieves to come and look. The new players complained about the price. 6 copper coins were a lot for them since most were still broke. But for Nie Yan, this was a golden chance. He walked up to Silent Paladin and asked the price. The paladin smiled and said it was 6 copper coins, just as listed. Nie Yan started thinking fast. Stealth was very important in the early game. With it, he could open a hidden chest in the Wildcat Zone, a level 5 area near Tracktown. Since most players were still low level, the chest should still be unopened. With a calm smile, Nie Yan made a bold offer. He told Silent Paladin to give him the book for free. In return, he would share a secret farming spot that could drop more than a dozen stealth books each day. Silent Paladin became angry. Seeing that Nie Yan was only level 0, he thought he was just some crazy player trying to cheat him. He told Nie Yan to leave. But Nie Yan stayed calm and told him to wait. Then he revealed that he knew exactly where Silent Paladin had been farming the books, by killing fallen shamans in Linktown. The paladin froze in shock. Nie Yan continued and even said the exact coordinates of the farming spot. "Am I right?" he asked. Silent Paladin broke into a cold sweat. How could this stranger know his secret location? If the new spot was even better, he could earn many more books each day. After thinking quickly, the paladin made a decision. He pushed the stealth book into Nie Yan's hands. It was only 1 book. If the new location really worked, it would be worth it. A system window appeared, showing that he was trading with Nirvana Flame. The deal was done. Nie Yan kept his promise and told him the new coordinates near another fallen shaman camp. Silent Paladin was thrilled and prepared to leave right away. Before he left, Nie Yan made one more request. The fallen shamans could also drop a skill book called Owl's Insight. If the paladin got an extra one, could he mail it to him? Silent Paladin quickly agreed. If the new farming spot worked, he would send the skill book immediately. Then he used his hearthstone. In a flash of blue light, he disappeared. Now holding the stealth skill book, Nie Yan had completed his first goal. A faint light surrounded Nie Yan as he prepared for his next move, opening the hidden chest. He quickly moved through the city and arrived at Tracktown, the closest town to his target. Without wasting any time, he used the skill book. A system window appeared confirming that he had learned stealth, a skill that allowed him to become invisible. He took 1 step and activated the skill. Dark shadows wrapped around his body, and he disappeared from sight. Like a ghost, he moved through the busy streets of Tracktown. Using his agility, he jumped over the town walls instead of going through the guarded gates. He landed softly in the forest outside and immediately ran toward the high-level hunting ground where the treasure was hidden. Still hidden by stealth, he reached the Wildcat Zone. The forest was full of danger. Wildcats between level 2 and level 4 roamed everywhere, ready to attack any player they saw. From the cover of the trees, Nie Yan spotted what he was looking for. A silver chest rested on a high tree branch. Below it, several deadly level 5 wildcats patrolled the area. In conviction, chests were ranked by rarity. The ranks went from common, silver, gold, dark gold, and finally legendary. The higher the rank, the better the rewards. Nie Yan stared at the silver chest. That was his goal. The loot inside was fixed, and once opened, the chest would disappear forever. He felt relieved knowing he was the first to find it. For a level 0 player, entering a level 5 area was normally suicide. But there was one good thing: at his level, dying would not cause any loss of experience. With nothing to lose, he activated stealth again and moved forward. He slipped through the bushes like a shadow, carefully avoiding the wild cats. Then he jumped up into the branches of a large tree, keeping his eyes on the chest. He had to be fast. Stealth only lasted 2 minutes, and opening a chest took time. Suddenly, one of the wild cats below stopped. Its red eyes glowed as if it sensed something was wrong. It suddenly jumped and swiped at the air where Nie Yan had just been. He knew he could not get too close, or his stealth would break. He quickly moved from branch to branch, staying above the confused and angry cats. Finally, he landed silently on a thick branch right beside the chest. Without hesitation, he reached out. An opening progress bar appeared. His heart beat faster, but he forced himself to stay calm. His invisibility could end at any moment. Below him, the wild cats grew more restless. Then, with a soft click, the chest opened. The system showed that it had taken 27 long seconds. Nie Yan's eyes shone with excitement. He pulled out a skill book from inside. "Got it," he whispered. The reward for his risk was a skill called Vital Strike. It allowed him to deal 150% extra damage when hitting an enemy's weak point. For a thief, this skill was extremely powerful. His journey to the top had truly begun. Nie Yan smirked. At level 0, he had already obtained a top-tier skill meant for advanced thieves. With Vital Strike, his early game progress would be much faster. Everything was going exactly as planned. As the skill book disappeared, a system message appeared. It confirmed that Nie Yan had successfully learned Vital Strike. His plan was now moving forward. Just as his stealth effect ended, 2 large red-eyed creatures below noticed him. But this was exactly what he wanted. Without hesitation, Nie Yan jumped down into a group of giant rats. While falling, he even thanked the confused monsters for guarding the chest. It was a clear insult. In Conviction, dying usually meant losing experience and possibly dropping items. But Nie Yan was level 0 and had nothing valuable. For him, death was not a punishment, it was useful. System messages appeared one after another. He had died. He dropped his useless starter gloves. Then he was teleported to the nearest town. His plan had worked perfectly. In a flash of light, Nie Yan respawned in the middle of a busy town. He smiled. He had just used death as a free instant teleport. Now it was time for the second phase of his leveling plan. He stood in the main square, surrounded by many new players who had no idea about the advantage he had. Looking around the starting village, Nie Yan knew he needed quick money. Thanks to his memories from his past life, he knew about a hidden quest. First, he went to Hunter Claws and accepted a simple mission to collect 20 giant rat skulls. Then he visited Farmer End and accepted another quest to kill 50 silver-gray giant rats. Just as he expected, after taking those 2 quests, Apothecary Droll approached him. Because Nie Yan had met the hidden requirements, a secret third quest was unlocked. Only he knew about this special trick. With a confident smile, he accepted the hidden quest to collect 21 giant rat tails. All 3 quests matched perfectly. Out in the fields, a silver-gray giant rat moved quietly through the tall grass. It was exactly the monster he needed. Nie Yan rushed forward and used Vital Strike. The skill did not even require a dagger. It dealt 21 points of damage, far more than a normal level 0 player could do. The rat died instantly. A skull and a tail dropped as loot. He was already making fast progress. To his surprise, his first kill also dropped a rare item. It shone brightly in the grass, a pair of tough leather leggings. They were common gear, but still valuable for a new player. Nie Yan immediately understood their worth. Selling them at the auction house would give him the extra copper he needed for the next part of his plan. But he did not stop. Soon, he was fighting an entire group of giant rats. He moved quickly, using Vital Strike again and again, killing the monsters one after another. It was clear he would finish farming very soon. For the next hour, he continued without rest. An hour later, Nie Yan returned to the village with a full inventory. He turned in the quest items to Hunter Claws, Farmer End, and Apothecary Droll. As a reward, he received 34 copper coins and several health potions. Without wasting time, he listed the leather leggings on the auction house. Then he headed straight to the weapon shop. Inside, the shopkeeper warmly greeted him and proudly claimed his weapons were the best in town. But Nie Yan was not there to look around. He clearly stated what he wanted: a level 0 crossbow with good minimum attack and fire rate, all for under 40 copper coins. The next step of his master plan had begun. The shopkeeper smiled and showed him his best item, a rapid-fire hand crossbow. It had a triple shot effect, which made it perfect for Nie Yan. The price was exactly 35 copper coins. Nie Yan bought it immediately. He also purchased 9 bundles of rough iron bolts, each bundle containing 1,000 bolts. In total, he now had 9,000 bolts. The total cost was 44 copper coins, almost all the money he had. With his new weapon and a huge supply of ammunition, he left the shop. The owner wished him safe travels. Now fully prepared, Nie Yan headed toward his real target, the Bison Zone. He knew the game had a strict level suppression system. The monsters in the Bison Zone were level 8. For low-level players, they were unbelievably strong. Even top players would not dare fight them at this stage. But Nie Yan was not worried. With his future knowledge, he believed he could defeat the huge level gap, even at level 0. He arrived at the Wild Bison Zone. It was a wide open plain filled with powerful monsters and dangerous rocky cliffs. Carefully, Nie Yan moved through a narrow ravine toward a very specific place he remembered from his past life. He climbed up to a high ledge and quietly repeated the coordinates in his mind. This was the exact spot. From his high position, he looked down at the field below and quickly found his target, the boss of the area, the Bison Chieftain. It was a level 8 chieftain-ranked monster, far too strong for any beginner to fight. But Nie Yan remained calm. From this ledge he had the perfect distance and angle. The boss was just within range of his crossbow. He aimed and fired. Bolts flew toward the unaware boss. Because of the large level difference, many shots missed. Even the ones that hit only caused 1 point of damage. But that did not matter. He had 9,000 bolts. His plan was to slowly defeat the boss from this safe spot. He kept firing again and again. Small damage numbers appeared one by one, slowly lowering the chieftain's health. The bison became angry. It could not see who was attacking it. Its health bar barely moved, but it had no way to fight back. Finally, the bison chieftain roared loudly and charged toward the cliff, trying to reach its attacker. But it only crashed into the rock wall. Nie Yan watched calmly and told the beast to give up. This was a known glitch spot, a place where monsters could not reach players because of the terrain. The bison was completely helpless. From his safe spot on the cliff, Nie Yan kept shooting without stopping. Most of his bolts missed, but that didn't matter. He only needed a few to hit. Slowly, little by little, the bison's huge health bar went down. The air was filled with the sharp sounds of bolts flying. His ammo count dropped from over 8,000 to 6, then 5,000. It was slow and tiring. 3 long hours passed before the bison chieftain's health finally fell into the red. The monster let out a loud, painful roar, knowing it was about to die. Nie Yan was sweating and completely exhausted from repeating the same action again and again. He had already used nearly 4,000 bolts, and he couldn't believe the beast was still standing. Taking a deep breath, he fired one last shot. The bolt flew straight and hit the angry chieftain right between the eyes. Its health bar reached 0. The giant boss, which had seemed impossible to defeat, was killed by a single level 0 player. The huge creature swayed weakly. Then, with a heavy crash, the bison chieftain fell to the ground, shaking the earth. A system window popped up in front of Nie Yan. He had killed the bison chieftain and received a massive 1,800% experience bonus because of the level difference. In a flash, he rose to level 2. His long and patient fight had paid off. He quickly climbed down from the cliff to check the loot. When he saw it, he froze in shock. The boss had dropped a horned dagger, a bronze-grade weapon. At this early stage of the game, that was extremely rare. In Conviction, equipment ranks went from common to legendary. Elite monsters were very rare, and the chance of getting stat gear was less than 1 in 1,000. A bronze weapon had 20% more attack power than common gear and also came with an extra bonus stat. This level 5 dagger was worth a lot of money, at least 3 silver coins. But first, he needed to identify its hidden stats. At that moment, 2 notifications appeared. His leather leggings had sold for 8 copper coins. At the same time, he received a call from a player named Flying Stone, a paladin he slightly remembered. Flying Stone appeared on the call, full of excitement. He happily explained that the farming location Nie Yan had given him was amazing. It increased his leveling speed by 50%. He even said he felt bad, like he had cheated Nie Yan by only trading 1 skill book for such a great spot. Nie Yan calmly told him not to worry. He simply asked Flying Stone to give him a copy of the Owl's Insight skill book if it ever dropped. Flying Stone quickly agreed. Then, curious, he asked how a level 0 player like Nie Yan had known about that farming location. Nie Yan told a simple lie. He said he had played on a high-level account before, but he decided to start over as a thief. Flying Stone was immediately impressed. He thought Nie Yan must have been a top-ranked player before. Changing the topic, Flying Stone asked if Nie Yan's old account had ever cleared the fallen shaman camp. He explained that his own team had tried many times but failed each time. They had died again and again, losing gear and experience. Seeing a chance to earn money, Nie Yan calmly said he could provide a full guide to clear the camp. The price was 2 silver coins. Not negotiable. Flying Stone was shocked that Nie Yan even had such a guide. Still, he was very happy. He trusted Nie Yan completely and promised to convince his team captain to pay the money as soon as possible. After ending the call, Nie Yan turned his attention back to his reward. It was time to identify his new dagger. He returned to Track Town and went straight to the appraiser to reveal the weapon's hidden stats. Inside the shop, a beautiful elf appraiser with sharp eyes welcomed him. Nie Yan placed the unidentified dagger in front of her and asked her to examine it. The elf smiled slightly and told him the price for identification, 10 copper coins. Nie Yan was surprised by the high cost, but he understood what it meant. In Conviction, the identification fee was based on the item's value. If the fee was 10 copper, then the dagger must be worth at least 12 silver coins in the market. It was worth it. Without hesitation, he paid the coins. The appraiser began her work. A strong energy flowed from her hands, and the dagger was surrounded by bright golden light. The results were amazing. The horn dagger was a bronze-grade weapon with a level 0 requirement. It gave 18 attack and 5 strength. Nie Yan was thrilled. The bonus stat had rolled as 5 strength, which increased his damage even more. Its base stats were almost 10 times better than a normal dagger. With this weapon, he felt almost unbeatable in the early game. He calmly reviewed his abilities. He now had a strong weapon, the vital strike skill, and stealth. It was the perfect setup for an assassin. However, he was still missing one thing, a way to heal during long fights. For thieves, there were 2 ways to recover health: potions or bandages. Potions worked quickly but cost a lot of money. Bandaging was slower but much cheaper. As a reborn player who understood the value of every coin, the choice was clear. He would use bandages. Before leaving town, he stopped at the apothecary. He had a special plan in mind, and for that, he needed 2 minor underwater breathing potions. Inside the shop, the alchemist handed him the potions. But first, there was something else he needed to do. Nie Yan decided it was time to learn the bandage mastery skill he had been planning to get. After finishing his preparations, he headed toward his next destination, Lake Rando, a remote and dangerous place. The road to the lake was full of monsters. Nie Yan moved like a shadow, killing them quickly with fast and clean strikes. He stayed alert the entire time. Out in the wild, players could steal your kills or start fights at any moment. After some time, he reached the fisherman village at Lake Rando. The main path went straight through the crowded village. Nie Yan knew that attacking this place directly would require a raid team of at least 1,000 players. For someone alone like him, stealth was the only choice. Just as he was about to sneak in, a zone announcement suddenly appeared. The guild Victorious Return was clearing the area. All non-guild players were ordered to leave within 3 minutes. Nie Yan's eyes narrowed when he saw the name. Victorious Return. The name brought back painful memories. Just like in his past life, they were arrogant bullies. They claimed entire areas as their own and attacked anyone who refused to leave. He clearly remembered how they had hunted him for months. A cold fire burned in his eyes. This wasn't just a problem. It was a chance for revenge. He decided right then that he would slowly settle the score with them. Instead of leaving, Nie Yan activated his stealth skill. His body blended into the shadows as he quietly slipped forward. He planned to walk straight through their territory without being noticed. He moved silently through the village, passing the dangerous fisherman guards like a ghost. Suddenly, his stealth broke. A fireball exploded in front of him, revealing his position. The blast hit him directly and knocked him backward. A system message appeared. A player named Purple Blaze had attacked him. Self-defense mode was now active. An elementalist from Victorious Return stepped forward with a proud smile. He mocked Nie Yan and told him to get lost. Seeing that Nie Yan was alone, the mage was confident he could handle him easily. Nie Yan quickly dodged another fire attack. His mind worked fast. Against a mage, he only had 2 choices: close the distance and attack, or run away. But running was not his style. He knew the mage's pyroblast spell needed 2 seconds to cast. That was more than enough time for a thief. Nie Yan rushed forward, catching the mage off guard. Before the spell could finish, he was already in front of him. He drove his dagger hard into the mage's chest, cutting away a large part of his health bar. The mage shouted in anger. He screamed that this area belonged to Victorious Return and that Nie Yan must have a death wish. To keep Nie Yan away, the mage cast another spell, Ring of Fire. Flames spun around him in a burning circle. Nie Yan was caught in the fire, and his health quickly started dropping from the intense heat, but he was ready. Without hesitation, he drank a minor recovery potion. His health instantly restored by a large amount. This was the moment Nie Yan had been waiting for. The mage was shocked. He thought Nie Yan would run away. Instead, Nie Yan pushed through the flames and struck him again with a clean hit. The mage screamed in panic, but it was already too late. Nie Yan had broken through his defense and was ready to finish him. While watching Nie Yan burn in the fire, the mage quickly checked their health. He guessed the thief must be almost dead. He himself only had 51 HP left. It was now a race against time. If he could cast one more fireball, he would win. Purple Blaze shouted angrily, saying this was the price for challenging the victorious Return Guild. But his attack was rushed and sloppy. Nie Yan easily stepped to the side and avoided it. At that moment, Nie Yan's dagger began to glow with a dark red light. He moved forward and used his skill, Vital Strike. The blade stabbed deep into the mage's body. Purple Blaze stared in disbelief as his body slowly began to break apart into pixels. He could not understand how a level 2 thief had survived his powerful spells. Nie Yan gave him a small smile. As the mage's body disappeared, he finally realized the truth. Nie Yan had used an instant recovery potion. But it didn't make sense. A solo level 2 player should not have enough money to buy such a rare item. Nie Yan calmly told him he could think about that while waiting to respawn. The fight was over. Victory belonged to Nie Yan. He quickly picked up the level 2 bronze staff the mage had dropped. There was no time to celebrate. He knew the rest of the guild would arrive soon. Just as he expected, nearby guild members saw Purple Blaze fall. They shouted loudly and ordered everyone to catch the killer. Without hesitation, Nie Yan ran toward the lake shore. The guild's warriors chased after him. One of them mocked him, saying escape was impossible. A fighter with a huge greatsword swung it down with great force, shouting that Nie Yan would never get away. But the flame slash attack was too slow. Nie Yan dodged it easily. The warrior was stunned. He could not believe the thief was fast enough to avoid such a strong attack. When Nie Yan reached the edge of the cliff, he quickly took out the underwater breathing potion he had bought earlier. The guild members behind him realized what he planned to do and shouted for someone to stop him. The warriors used their skills and rushed forward in a desperate attempt to block him before he reached the water. But in their panic, they lost coordination. Some of the charging warriors crashed into their own shield-bearer who was trying to cut off Nie Yan's path. Nie Yan glanced back with a faint smile as he watched them stumble over each other. Their attacks hit nothing but air and stone as he jumped gracefully off the cliff. With a loud splash, he disappeared into the waters of Lake Rando. The members of Victorious Return could only stand there and stare at the surface. They cursed angrily. Without underwater breathing potions, they could not follow him. Soon, a woman who seemed to be the guild leader arrived and demanded to know what happened. One warrior reported that the target had escaped into the lake. The leader calmly gave her next order. Find out when Purple Blaze respawns and get the thief's player ID from him immediately. At the respawn point, Purple Blaze shared the name. The mysterious thief finally had an identity. Nirvana Flame. As the guild leader above swore revenge, Nie Yan moved deeper into the quiet water below. He had made a powerful enemy, but everything was going exactly as he planned. Safe underwater, he let out a slow breath. He had escaped the guild. Now it was time for his real goal. He remembered a hidden treasure chest somewhere in these waters. Thanks to his past memories, it did not take long to find it. Hidden among thick seaweed was the chest he was looking for. Inside, he found exactly what he needed. The fisherman's water-repelling pearl, a special item that allowed him to breathe underwater for 30 minutes. It was not very rare, but for his current plan, it was extremely important. Just as he put it away, a sharp trident flew past his face. He had been discovered. Without realizing it, he had entered a fisherman's den. The creatures surrounded Nie Yan from every direction. Fighting them underwater, in their own territory, would be suicide. He looked up at the surface, and an idea came to him. The noise he caused underwater had already alerted the fisherman tribe on the shore. At the same time, the Victorious Return Guild was still attacking the fisherman village, not knowing that more enemies were coming. Nie Yan swam upward on purpose, leading the angry underwater fishermen straight toward the guild members above. From the safety of the water, he watched with a small grin as the two groups crashed into each other. The guild and the fishermen began fighting fiercely. He silently thanked Victorious Return for clearing the path for him. While chaos spread across the shore, he swam toward his real destination, the island in the center of the lake. Soon, he reached the island and came up for air. He took a deep breath. His plan had worked perfectly, but just then, a scream for help echoed across the island. He turned toward the sound and froze. Pink hair. That voice. It was Yao Yao, the holy mage from his old party. He could not believe they had met again so soon. Memories from his past life rushed into his mind, the battles they fought together, and the quiet talks by the campfire. They had shared many experiences. Seeing her here felt like fate. Back in the present, he saw Yao Yao struggling in the water. 3 water spiders were attacking her. Without thinking, he jumped back into the water to help. He reached her quickly and used Vital Strike on one of the spiders. Surprised by the sudden help, Yao Yao quickly regained focus and cast Holy Judgment on another spider. His dagger and her holy magic hit at the same time. It felt natural, like they had fought side by side for years. Together, they quickly defeated the monsters. When the last spider disappeared, Yao Yao stepped onto the shore and thanked him sincerely. He told her it was nothing and introduced himself with his in-game name, Nirvana Flame. She softly repeated the name. Nirvana Flame. Something about it felt familiar. The name reminded her of someone she knew in real life, Nie Yan. She wondered if he was the same person. She then introduced herself properly as Yao Yao. A friend request from Nirvana Flame appeared in front of her. She smiled and said that since he saved her, they should add each other so she could repay him someday. He accepted. A notification confirmed they were now friends. Nie Yan smiled and asked what she was doing on this remote island. Yao Yao explained she was farming water spiders for their water sacs. Coincidentally, Nie Yan was hunting the same monsters for a different item, fine silk. Since they were after drops from the same monsters, he suggested they form a party. She agreed immediately. To his surprise, she opened a trade window and offered him the fine silk she had already collected as a thank you gift. The trade was completed, and Nie Yan received 12 spools of fine silk. At the current market price, that was worth about 36 copper coins, a large amount for a new player. She insisted, saying 36 copper was nothing compared to saving her life, especially since she did not need the silk. Hearing that, he accepted her gift. But before they could talk more, the water suddenly exploded. A huge figure rose from beneath the surface. It was the Water Spider Lord, a chieftain-level boss. Yao Yao panicked. A chieftain was far too strong for 2 low-level players. But there was no time to escape. A notification confirmed their party was official. The battle had begun. Nie Yan moved first. He rushed forward and landed a strong Vital Strike on the boss. Yao Yao supported him immediately, casting Holy Judgment again. Her holy magic hit the giant spider hard, causing heavy damage and making it stagger. The spider fought back with a sharp swipe. But Nie Yan shouted a warning just in time, allowing Yao Yao to dodge. Nie Yan quickly switched to his crossbow. He told her he would draw the boss's attention, while she focused on dealing damage. He fired several bolts at the spider's eyes. The attack angered the boss and successfully pulled its attention toward him. With the boss focused on Nie Yan, Yao Yao used her strongest spells one after another. A bright beam of holy light struck the Water Spider Lord, landing a critical hit. The combined attacks were too much. The powerful chieftain collapsed and slowly sank back into the water. The lake became quiet again. Yao Yao stood still, shocked. She could not understand it. Fighting with him felt so natural. They had defeated a chieftain as if it were just an ordinary monster. Their teamwork was perfect, like they had always been partners. Nie Yan noticed her thoughtful expression and casually asked what she was thinking about. Startled, she quickly said it was nothing. She then smiled and praised his amazing skills. She asked why someone so strong was playing alone. He simply replied that he was used to being solo. Hearing that gave her an idea. With a hopeful smile, she said her group was preparing to raid the Trent Forest and invited him to join them. He asked her directly how many shield warriors her team has, and more importantly, how much defense and HP they have. This might sound like normal game talk, but for Nie Yan it is very important. He knows that the Trent Forest is not an easy dungeon. It is a level 3 instance with a sub-elite boss called the Trent King. Yao Yao tries to help and tells him that their team has 2 shield warriors. Each one has 53 defense and 230 HP. To most players, that sounds good enough. But for Nie Yan it is not. He quickly calculates the numbers in his head and realizes they are in serious danger. He explains that the Trent King has a 2% chance to deal a critical hit. If the tanks do not have at least 60 defense, a single critical hit will kill them instantly. It is not just a possibility, it is almost certain. Even the priest healing will not help if the tank dies in one hit. Yao Yao is shocked when she hears this. Nobody should know this information yet because the game has just launched. She asks him how he knows all of this. Of course, Nie Yan cannot say that he came from the future, so he simply stays quiet and lets his knowledge speak for itself. Now Yao Yao becomes worried. Getting bronze defense gear to reach 60 defense is extremely difficult at this early stage of the game. For a normal team, it is almost impossible. But Nie Yan already has a plan. With confidence, he tells her there might be another way. He asks her to let him lead the team. It is a bold request. However, after seeing how capable he is, Yao Yao actually considers it. She says she will try to convince the group, even though she knows it will be hard to let a random thief lead their raid. At that moment, they finish checking the loot from the monster they just defeated. The rewards are very good. A beam of light appears, showing a new piece of equipment. Yao Yao uses the appraisal skill to check the item. Nie Yan is surprised when he sees this. The appraisal skill is a rare utility skill, especially this early in the game. The item is fine silk gauntlets, bronze quality. Level requirement, 0 attributes, defense 2 magic 3. It is perfect beginner gear for a mage. Nie Yan decides to build goodwill, so he immediately gives the item to Yao Yao. He tells her it suits her perfectly, and that she should keep it. He does not hesitate at all. However, he does not leave empty-handed. He also found a skill book called Assassinate. For a thief, this is a very important skill because it deals high damage and works as a finishing move. Yao Yao is clearly impressed by both his skill and his generosity. But suddenly a system message appears. The game will close in 3 minutes. It is time for the server shutdown. They say goodbye and promise to meet again next time before logging out in a flash of digital light. Then the scene moves to the real world. Nie Yan wakes up in his bed, still holding his VR helmet. It is the morning of the second day since his rebirth. He takes a deep breath and realizes something important. In the game, he is becoming strong. But in real life, his body is still weak. He looks at his thin arms and realizes he has been neglecting his health. Then he thinks about Cao Xu, the man who destroyed his life in the previous timeline. Cao Xu is a powerful financial tycoon with bodyguards and real-world influence. If Nie Yan wants to survive what is coming, he can not only be strong in the game. He must also become strong in real life. He clenches his fist and decides to start exercising right away. He will no longer stay weak and helpless. So he leaves his house, but something unexpected happens. A large truck suddenly comes speeding down the street. The tires screech loudly as it rushes past. Nie Yan loses his balance and falls. Just then, a girl quickly runs toward him to help. It is her. Yao Yao, whose real name is Yao Yao. She is wearing a white dress and looks worried. She asks if he is okay and checks to see if he is hurt. She scolds him gently for being careless, and says she has a first aid kit in her car. While she goes to get it, Nie Yan watches her quietly. As he looks at her, memories from his past life return. She was not only his teammate, she was also someone he deeply regretted losing. Because in the past, he had been too weak and too afraid to express his feelings. And because of her connection to him, Xia Yao eventually became a target of Cao Xu's powerful financial group. The pressure and harassment pushed Xia Yao into severe mental illness. She suffered greatly because of that man. Nie Yan looks at her, and his determination grows stronger. This time, he has the power to change things. In his heart, he silently promises that he will never let her suffer like that again. While she cleans the small wounds on his body, she scolds him for being careless. Then their eyes meet, and Nie Yan smiles at her. His smile makes Xia Yao blush. She quickly looks away and wonders if he is even listening to her. But Nie Yan calmly says that he can always rely on her to take care of him. He also tells her that she looks cute when she acts like this. Still blushing, she turns around to leave. Quietly, she mutters that she would never want to take care of someone like him and says goodbye. After getting into her car, she looks back at him. She begins to think about the player Nirvana Flame and wonders if Nie Yan could really be that person. But Nie Yan seems a little different now. He looks more confident, just like Nirvana Flame. Nie Yan watches her car leave. He feels happy to see her again and thinks that she is still as kind and charming as he remembers. But suddenly, his expression becomes serious. His mood changes quickly from relaxed to determined. He thinks about Cao Xu and knows that this man will eventually try to ruin his life again. Because of that, Nie Yan realizes he must grow stronger in the game conviction as quickly as possible. The game is his only chance to change his fate. At that moment, his phone suddenly rings. It is Tang Yao. When Nie Yan answers, Tang Yao immediately starts shouting. He demands to know where Nie Yan has been for the past 2 days, and why he has not contacted him. Then he orders him to come meet him right away. Nie Yan is surprised for a moment, but then he smiles and says he is happy to hear his voice again. Memories begin to return to him. Tang Yao was his best friend in his past life. When Nie Yan's life fell apart, Tang Yao secretly helped him many times. He even risked being discovered by Cao Xu's people. Because of Tang Yao, Nie Yan's difficult days became a little easier. However, Tang Yao also had a weakness: he loved chasing women. In Nie Yan's previous life, Tang Yao got into a fight at a bar because of jealousy. During the fight, he angered a very powerful person. In the end, He was beaten badly and left dying in a dark alley. In this life, Nie Yan refuses to let that tragedy happen again. Soon, they meet on the street. Tang Yao happily puts Nie Yan in a playful headlock. The two friends start talking about the game. Nie Yan casually says that he is currently a level 2 wind thief. Tang Yao is surprised. Reaching level 2 this early in the game is already difficult. Then Tang Yao proudly says that he is a level 3 arcane mage. After that, they go to a place called the PK Bar. It is a special place where players connect to machines and fight using their in-game characters in battle simulations. It is partly a high-end gaming cafe and partly a competitive arena. Tang Yao likes coming here to gamble on matches, even though he often loses money. Right then, trouble appears. A man named Wei Kai walks in with several friends. He looks stylish but also arrogant. As soon as he sees Tang Yao, he starts mocking him, asking if he came to lose more money again. Tang Yao is clearly annoyed, but he also enjoys the challenge. Then Wei Kai notices Nie Yan and sneers. He asks if the beating from last time was not enough. It seems that Nie Yan had also been bullied here before. Wei Kai continues laughing and insulting them. Tang Yao quickly says that as long as he is there, Nie Yan will be safe and no one will dare to touch him. But Nie Yan remains calm. Very calm. Even Wei Kai notices something strange. Nie Yan does not look scared like before. Instead, he seems confident, as if he has suddenly become much braver. Soon, Tang Yao enters one of the simulator pods to fight Wei Kai. He bets 200 credits for each round. The match information appears on the big screen. Tang Yao, level 3 arcane mage; Wei Kai, level 3 berserker. Nie Yan immediately analyzes the situation. The berserker has a charge skill, while the arcane mage specializes in long-range attacks and control magic. However, the battlefield is a flat and open area. Because there are no obstacles or terrain to hide behind, the berserker can quickly rush forward and attack the mage at close range. After observing the map, Nie Yan already understands the result. Tang Yao will probably lose this round. Just then, one of Wei Kai's friends speaks to Nie Yan. He says that Tang Yao is about to lose and asks if Nie Yan wants to fight a few rounds instead. Nie Yan looks at him calmly and confidently. He says they will play only one round, and only if the bet is worth it. The man becomes annoyed by his attitude. With arrogance, he raises the bet to 700 credits for a single match, saying he will teach Nie Yan a lesson. He is already sure that winning will be easy. The crowd turns their attention to the screen as the new match appears. Nie Yan, level 2 wind thief Shifeng, level 2 ranger. On paper, the ranger has the advantage. Rangers usually have an advantage against thieves. They have high perception and strong long-range attacks, which can reveal a thief's stealth and stop them before they get close. Because of this, Shifeng is confident that he will win easily. The simulation begins, and the randomly chosen map appears, Bamboo Forest. Shifeng spawns into the map. For a brief moment, both players see each other. But Nie Yan immediately uses his stealth skill and disappears. Shifeng understands this ability. He quickly realizes that the situation is not good for him. The bamboo forest is thick and full of tall bamboo, shadows, and hiding spots. It is perfect terrain for a thief. He watches as Nie Yan seems to vanish completely. Shifeng starts to panic. He activates his abilities and begins searching everywhere. He runs through the bamboo forest, looking in every direction, but he cannot find Nie Yan anywhere. Even though he thought he would win easily, his opponent has completely disappeared. At that moment, Nie Yan silently notices Shifeng above him. His mind stays calm and focused. With 10 years of experience as a thief, hiding his presence has become natural for him. In a single moment, Nie Yan suddenly appears behind Shifeng. Shifeng feels that something is wrong, but it is already too late. This is not a normal fight. It is an execution. Nie Yan's dagger glows with deadly energy as he attacks. A damage number appears on the screen. 40 damage. Shifeng's health drops from 110 HP to 70 HP with just one attack. Shifeng quickly turns around in panic, trying to fight back. He cannot understand when Nie Yan got behind him. But the battle is already over. As Shifeng's attack comes close to Nie Yan's face, Nie Yan calmly says that it is finished. The screen suddenly flashes the words Vital Strike. 70 damage. Shifeng's character falls to the ground immediately. The match ends in an instant. The atmosphere in the gaming lounge changes from relaxed to complete shock in just a second. A huge KO sign appears on the screen. The spectators stare at the screen with their mouths open. One person is sweating and stammering, unable to believe that Shifeng lost so quickly. They can't understand what just happened. Shifeng was supposed to be a decent player. He was a ranger, which means he had a range advantage. Yet he was defeated instantly. Meanwhile, Nie Yan sits calmly inside his gaming pod. He looks like he just finished a simple task, not a serious duel. His expression is relaxed. In his mind, he simply thinks that fighting a level 2 beginner ranger is unfair for the opponent. He is not bragging. To him, it was just routine. On the other side, Shifeng sits in his pod, sweating heavily. His eyes are wide with shock. He keeps thinking about what happened. In his mind, he replays the moment again and again. Just a few quick movements from Nie Yan hit his vital points and ended the fight in a single strike. It shows how precise Nie Yan's skills are. In the past, when Wei Kai steps out of his pod and removes his VR headset smoothly, the people around begin whispering. They wonder when this person became so decisive. They ask themselves if this is really the same Nie Yan who used to be quiet and timid, the one who always swallowed his anger. Now they see a completely different person. The old Nie Yan is gone. At that moment, Tang Yao, his best friend, walks over. He tries to look calm, but it's obvious he is impressed. Nie Yan asks how Tang Yao's match went, even though he already knows the answer. Tang Yao sighs and admits he lost 2 rounds and is now down 1,200 credits. For students, that is a lot of money. He explains that his opponent, Wei Kai, learned a skill called Berserker's anti-magic aura. The Berserker's body glows with red energy that weakens magic attacks. Tang Yao is frustrated because this skill directly counters his arcane mage class. He believes the fight was impossible to win. However, Nie Yan shakes his head and calmly explains that the anti-magic aura only reduces a small amount of spell damage. It is not as powerful as people think. He tells Tang Yao that as long as the spell timing is correct, defeating a berserker is not that difficult. This is advice from experience. Tang Yao suddenly realizes his mistake. He admits that he didn't time his spells properly. All his spells went on cooldown, and the berserker rushed forward and defeated him. Tang Yao then looks at Nie Yan with curiosity. He wonders where Nie Yan learned all this knowledge. Nie Yan only smiles and shows the money he just won. Tang Yao stares in amazement and asks if he really won all that. Suddenly, the mood in the room changes again. The bullies return, and they look angry. Fun, one of them, angrily shouts at Nie Yan for acting arrogant. His pride is hurt because he lost money. He threatens to teach Nie Yan a lesson for taking their cash. Then things get serious. Fun throws a punch at Nie Yan in the real world, but Nie Yan does not panic. He calmly catches Fun's fist, redirects the force, and throws him hard onto the floor. Fun screams as he crashes down. It is completely humiliating. Nie Yan stands calmly and looks at the group. Inside his mind, he remembers that in his previous life, he trained his body to survive difficult situations and deal with powerful enemies like Cao Xu. Behind him, Tang Yao watches in shock. He wonders when his friend became so strong. The other bullies start to feel scared. One of them whispers that they should stop messing with Nie Yan. They realize he is not someone easy to deal with. Their leader feels humiliated. Since he cannot win a physical fight, he tries to regain his pride through a challenge. He angrily says that Nie Yan dared to beat his subordinate. Nie Yan crosses his arms and leans back casually. He says they were just playing around and that the opponent was a little weak. Calling the opponent weak right in front of the boss is extremely disrespectful. The boss steps forward and challenges Nie Yan to a game duel, believing he can win there. Nie Yan smirks and agrees, but says he will only play if the stakes are high enough. He knows their pride is important. The best way to hurt them is through their money. Tang Yao starts to panic. The challenger announces a bet of 1,000 per round, and he has 3,000 total. Tang Yao quickly points out that the fight is unfair. The opponent is a level 3 berserker, while Nie Yan is only a level 2 shadow dancer thief. Berserkers usually defeat thieves in direct combat. But Nie Yan raises 3 fingers confidently. 3,000 per round, he says. He just tripled the bet. The challenger is surprised for a moment, but then he laughs and agrees. He believes this will be easy money. Tang Yao grabs Nie Yan's shoulder and asks if he has gone crazy. He reminds him that he doesn't even have that much money. Nie Yan calmly replies that he doesn't. That's why he wants to borrow money from Tang Yao. Tang Yao almost panics, but after a moment he sighs and agrees. He decides to trust his friend and risk everything. True friendship. The system announces that they are entering the game. The screen changes as they enter the virtual world. The versus screen appears. Nie Yan versus the Berserker. Their avatars appear. The Berserker looks huge, wearing heavy armor and holding a massive sword. Nie Yan looks smaller but fast and dangerous. Then the map loads. It is a wide grassland, with endless green fields. Tang Yao's face drops immediately. He explains that this map is terrible for thieves. There are no trees, rocks, or shadows to hide in. A thief without cover is very vulnerable. The opponent laughs and offers to change the map if Nie Yan thinks it is unfair. He is clearly mocking him. But Nie Yan simply says there is no need. They will fight on this map. The battle begins. Nie Yan activates stealth, and his body slowly becomes invisible. The berserker scans the field carefully. He believes the moving grass will reveal Nie Yan's position. Suddenly he notices grass moving strangely. He waits for the wind. When a strong wind blows across the field and the grass waves wildly, he swings his giant sword through the area where he believes Nie Yan is hiding. But he misses. Sweat appears on his forehead. Then he realizes something shocking. Nie Yan is using the wind to hide his movements. When the wind blows and the grass moves, Nie Yan moves. When the wind stops, Nie Yan stops. He is perfectly matching his movement with nature. It is brilliant. The berserker becomes nervous and waits for the next gust of wind. When the wind blows again, he prepares his attack. But nothing appears in front of him. His eyes widen in shock. Suddenly, a red slash appears behind him. Nie Yan has already moved behind him. A dagger strikes his back. Damage, -35. The berserker panics, and uses whirlwind slash, spinning wildly with his sword to push Nie Yan away. But Nie Yan has already stepped back. He watches carefully. Nie Yan knows that after using whirlwind slash with a great sword, the berserker has about 1 second of recovery time. That moment is the key. The spin stops. The berserker cannot move. He is completely open. Nie Yan instantly lunges forward. His dagger strikes. Vital strike activated. The screen flashes. From the sidelines, Tang Yao and the others watch in shock. That's impossible! Someone shouts. The timing was perfect. Critical hit, 96 damage. The berserker's health drops rapidly. He now has only 34 HP left out of 165. He is one hit away from defeat. Desperate and furious, he raises his sword and uses his final attack, Flame Slash. His blade bursts into flames as he swings it down with all his strength. The giant burning sword falls toward Nie Yan like a meteor. Nie Yan stands there calmly, the fire reflecting in his eyes. Tang Yao panicked and shouted, "Nie Yan! Dodge quickly!" At that moment, Nie Yan was facing Wei Kai's attack. Wei Kai planned to use Flame Slash to force him back. But Nie Yan stayed calm. As a thief, close combat is my advantage, Nie Yan thought. My HP is still high. Even if I take this hit, I can keep my distance advantage. Nie Yan raised his sword and blocked the attack. Even so, the strike landed a critical hit, and -56 HP appeared above his head. Wei Kai angrily shouted, "You brat! How dare you tank my skill? How arrogant!" Right after that, Wei Kai swung his blade again and used one strike slash. A wave of energy shot toward Nie Yan. At the same time, Wei Kai quickly jumped forward, following the attack to strike again. Tang Yao became even more nervous. Oh no! Charge has a brief stun effect. If he gets hit, Nie Yan is finished. On the other side, one of Wei Kai's subordinates smirked and said, "That brat Nie Yan is still pretending to be strong in front of us. Does he really think Boss Wei Kai's skills are just for show?" But at that moment, Nie Yan suddenly moved and dodged the attack. Wei Kai's eyes widened in shock. He dodged it? From such a close distance. He actually dodged my one strike slash? Nie Yan gripped his dagger and thought, the attack range of charge isn't as long as my dagger. If I take this chance, I can win. He moved forward and quickly slashed his dagger toward Wei Kai's neck. At the same moment, both of them hit each other with their attacks and were pushed backward. After the clash, Wei Kai's HP dropped to 0. His eyes and mouth opened wide in shock as he fell to the ground. On the other side, Nie Yan was also pushed back. He stabbed his dagger into the ground to steady himself. His HP had also fallen very low, leaving him with only 40 HP. Nie Yan thought, I still got hit by charge, just like I expected. But luckily, I struck first. There was a small wound on his face. But his eyes were calm and determined. Then a system notification appeared. You win! Tang Yao shouted in disbelief, full of excitement. He won? A level 2 thief fought a level 3 berserker. And he actually won? Wei Kai's subordinate held his head in shock and said, Boss lost? How is that possible? How does that brat Nie Yan know the skill range of a berserker so well? How did he do it? After the duel ended, Wei Kai took off his game pod helmet. He still couldn't believe it. I actually lost? Nie Yan also removed his helmet and stood up. At that moment, Tang Yao happily ran toward him and said excitedly, Not bad, kid. You won even though you were level 2 against a level 3. Nie Yan smiled slightly and replied, Just a lucky win. Tang Yao put a hand on his shoulder and said, You seem to know a lot about this game, Conviction. Teach me how to play an arcane mage. Nie Yan smiled and answered, No problem. I'll teach you everything I know. After losing the duel, Wei Kai walked toward Nie Yan with his subordinates. Seeing them approach, Tang Yao quickly asked, What's wrong, young Master Wei? You're not going to go back on your loss, are you? Wei Kai replied calmly, Young Master Tang, what kind of person do you think I am? I admit defeat and accept my loss. Then he looked at Nie Yan and said, If young Master Nie Yan and young Master Tang have time in the future, you're welcome to come hang out at my bar. After saying that, he turned to his subordinates and said, Let's go. As they were leaving, one of his subordinates asked, Boss, why are you being so polite to that brat Nie Yan? Wei Kai replied calmly, You can't judge a person only by how they are now. You have to look further into the future. That kid has changed a lot. He might rise very quickly in the future, so it's better not to make enemies with him. Meanwhile, Nie Yan happily said to Tang Yao, Let's go. We won quite a bit today, so it's my treat. As for the arcane mage stuff, we'll talk about it in the game tonight. Tang Yao excitedly replied, Great. That night, the light in Nie Yan's room was bright. He was exercising to make his body stronger. After finishing his workout, he grabbed a towel and said to himself, Having a young body is really great. After resting for a moment, he said, Alright, it's time to enter conviction. I also promised to run the Treant Forest with Cao Xu's team. He picked up his game helmet and put it on. A system notification appeared, entering the game. When he returned to conviction, a system alert suddenly rang. Player Easy Eye has requested to add you as a friend. Accept? Options. Accept/reject. Another message appeared. Player Flying Stone has deposited 1 silver coin into your personal storage. Message, Expert, the walkthrough you provided really worked. We already cleared the fallen shaman camp. The other silver coin has also been left in your storage. Also, Expert, do you have a walkthrough for the Ogmat Muddy Swamp? It's urgent. After reading the messages, Nie Yan accepted the friend request. He muttered to himself, Easy Eye should be Tang Yao. Since he's here, I'll take him to run the Treant Forest. Then he thought again, as for the Ogmat Muddy Swamp walkthrough. I can't keep selling dungeon guides. That will attract too much suspicion. It's better to wait until their team fails a few times and then sell it for a better price. Nie Yan then noticed an old man sitting near the edge of the ocean, trying to catch fish. Nie Yan said, For now, I'll turn in the hidden quest first. System alert, hidden quest triggered. Physician Blevins asked. Young man, how many fine silks have you collected? Nie Yan replied respectfully, Respected physician, here are 30 fine silks that I found. Physician Blevins smiled and said, Young man, thank you for your generosity. To show my gratitude, please accept these 30 pieces of silk. I have also decided to teach you a skill. System notification, you have obtained 30 pieces of silk. Do you want to learn the intermediate combat bandage skill taught by Physician Blevins? After learning the skill, Nie Yan thought, I came here specifically for this skill. System notification, you have learned intermediate combat bandage. Intermediate combat bandage, materials required, 10 silk. Restores 20 HP. Skill lasts 10 seconds, can be interrupted after 3 seconds, can be used on teammates' hidden quest. Physician Blevins commission, 20% complete. After gaining the skill, Nie Yan muttered, I already turned in the fine silk. The quest should be complete. Why is it only 20%? He thought for a moment. Could this be a chain quest? Physician Blevins smiled and said, Young man, 30 fine silks are far from enough. I still need more. Can you help me find them? Nie Yan replied, At your service. He thought to himself, it really is a chain quest. At that moment, the system rang again. After answering the call, a voice shouted, Nirvana Flame. We're already gathered. Come over quickly. It was Yao Yao. Nie Yan replied, Alright, I'll be there soon. Then he thought to himself, if I want to act like an expert while running the Treant Forest with Cao Xu's team, everything has to match the image. First, I need to farm the Feather Fall Jewel that drops in the Treant Forest. Meanwhile, at the Tracktown teleportation point, Flying Stone was waiting for Nie Yan. He muttered impatiently, That kid Nie Yan said he would carry me through a dungeon. Where is he? Suddenly, a voice came from behind him. Yo, you're here? Flying Stone turned around and saw Nie Yan. Nie Yan smiled and said, Let's go. I'll take you to farm the Treant King today. Flying Stone smiled after seeing Nie Yan. Flying Stone was surprised when he saw Cao Xu and her teammates arrive in front of him. Cao Xu raised her hand and happily called out, Nirvana Flame, over here. Behind her stood Yulan. Flying Stone looked at them and felt excited. He whispered to Nie Yan, Wow, 2 great beauties. Real eye candy. Bro, when did you meet them? Cao Xu walked up to Nie Yan and said with a smile, Nirvana Flame, I spent a lot of effort convincing big sister Yulan to come. You absolutely cannot make us lose face in front of everyone. One of Cao Xu's teammates, Chen Bo, a wind thief, gritted his teeth. It looked like he didn't want to team up with Nie Yan. Then Yulan stepped forward and greeted him politely. Hello, Nirvana Flame. You're the wind thief Cao Xu mentioned. the one who can lead us through the Treant Forest, right? She looked at him carefully and thought, this guy looks very steady. His behavior is calm and relaxed. He really does have some traits of an expert. Nie Yan nodded and replied yes. I'm 100% confident that we can clear the Treant Forest. Then he added seriously, but let's make one thing clear first. I will be the team captain, and everyone must follow my arrangements. After hearing that, the other teammates looked at each other in confusion, though they didn't say anything. However, Chenbo, the wind thief, became angry and spoke up. Why should we listen to you? He said angrily. What if you don't know what you're doing and cause our whole team to get wiped out? Yulan looked at Chenbo and said, this is what we agreed upon beforehand. What kind of stunt are you pulling now? Chenbo was shocked and replied, Yulan, why are you speaking up for an outsider? Yulan then turned to Nirvana Flame and said humbly, I'm sorry. I apologize to you on his behalf. You can create a team. I'll have everyone join. Nirvana Flame calmly responded, in that case, while I'm leading the team, you must absolutely obey my commands. If anyone is dissatisfied, you can settle it with me afterward. If you're unwilling, you can leave at any time. But if anyone plays tricks while we're teamed up, or causes a team wipe, don't blame me for being ruthless. After saying that, he used the system to create a team and invited all the players. Notifications appeared one after another. Player Yulan has joined your team. Player Cha Cha has joined your team. Player Bai Zi has joined your team. Player Mineral Water has joined your team. Yulan calmly announced, from now on, Captain Nirvana Flame's orders are my orders. If anyone tries to play tricks behind our backs, they will no longer have a place in my team in the future. Hearing this, Chenbo also joined the team. After that, Nirvana Flame said, our goal is the same, to clear the Treant Forest dungeon. Aside from Bai Zi and me, you're all on the same side. Even if you don't like me, there's no need to make things difficult for your teammates and risk a team wipe. If any mistakes occur due to my improper commands, I'm willing to compensate you with 10 silver coins. Cha Cha was shocked to hear that, and even Boiled Water was stunned. He asked in disbelief, 10 silver coins. After hearing this, Yulan turned to Cha Cha and asked, where did you find this guy? He's confident and bold. Maybe he really can lead us to clear the Treant Forest. Cha Cha smiled and replied, Big Sister Yulan, I told you earlier, Nirvana Flame can do it. Nirvana Flame continued speaking, alright, starting now, everyone report your name and stats. Let's begin with the Shield Warriors. One of the players stepped forward and introduced himself. I'm Boiled Water, a Shield Warrior. Defense, 62, HP, 230, Attack, 27. I'm the team's main tank. Another player followed. I'm Boiling Water Dumplings, just call me Dumplings. I'm also a Shield Warrior. Defense, 51, HP, 160, Attack, 28. The third player introduced himself. My name is Blazing Flame. I'm a Fire Mage. Magic damage, 32. Another player introduced himself as Pumpkin. After hearing everyone's introductions, Nirvana Flame said, Boiled Water, go buy a haste potion. Pumpkin, go buy a strength potion. Hearing this, Boiled Water was shocked. He asked nervously, potions? Those things cost dozens of copper coins each. Isn't that a bit too expensive? Pumpkin also added, even if we clear the Treant Forest, it's hard to say whether we'll make our money back. Chenbo, the wind thief, narrowed his eyes and said, I thought this guy actually had some real skills. Buying so many potions? Even if I were the leader, I couldn't clear the Treant Forest like this. Flying Stone smirked and replied, you talk a lot of nonsense. Could it be you don't have the money to buy potions? If you're broke, I can lend you some. Chenbo angrily shouted, you brat, what did you say? Flying Stone smiled and replied, I'm talking about you, poor bastard. Cha Cha then nervously asked Nirvana Flame, do we really need this many potions to clear the Treant Forest on normal difficulty? We won't be able to make the money back. Nirvana Flame smiled and said, you'll understand when the time comes. Having them buy potions is definitely not a waste of money. He thought to himself, what I want to clear isn't normal difficulty, but the highest difficulty, expert grade. Yulan then ordered Boiled Water, Pumpkin, please buy the potions as instructed. Pumpkin replied, alright. After everyone finished buying the potions, Nirvana Flame said, good. Since everyone is here, let's head out. They soon arrived at the Treant Forest. In front of them stood a massive stone, with air currents swirling around it. Nirvana Flame turned to the group and said, wait here for a moment. I'll go open the dungeon. He stepped forward and placed his hand on the giant stone. Ancient text was carved into its surface. Those who pass through the forest absorb the dew of the first rays of sunlight. The shepherd's whistle drifts through the woods. Awaken from ancient years, slumbering souls of the trees. A message from the Greenleaf Elder Scout echoed in his mind. Traces of dark elves had appeared in the forest. Nirvana Flame muttered to himself, these dark elves. Why won't they just stop? At that moment, a system screen appeared. Please select the difficulty to enter the Treant Forest dungeon. Without hesitation, Nirvana Flame chose Expert. A notification followed. Treant Forest, you have entered the dungeon. Difficulty, Expert grade. In an instant, the entire team was teleported into the dungeon. Pumpkin was shocked and asked, "What's going on? Expert grade? Captain Nirvana Flame, you chose the wrong one, right?" Boiling Water Dumplings added in disbelief, "Yeah. Expert difficulty? How can we possibly clear it?" Yulan placed her hand on her chin and thought nervously. Someone like him wouldn't make such a rookie mistake. Could it be he planned to conquer expert difficulty from the very beginning? Chenbo shouted, "I think I understand now. Nirvana Flame, you're trying to get us killed, aren't you? What did we ever do to you? You insist on choosing expert difficulty just to cause a team wipe and make us lose experience." Nirvana Flame calmly replied, "Since I brought you in, I naturally have a way to bring you out. If you're dissatisfied, you can leave the team." Chenbo angrily said you. Before he could continue, Cha interrupted, "Chenbo, Nirvana Flame is a friend I invited. If you have a problem with me, say it directly. There's no need to keep targeting him." Chenbo was taken aback and quickly turned to her. "That's not it, Cha. I don't have a problem with you." However, he thought angrily, I didn't expect Yao to actually defend an outsider. That damn guy. Nirvana Flame then explained calmly, "Expert difficulty isn't that hard. The monsters just have about 30% more HP. It requires a bit more defense from the shield warriors and slightly higher damage from the mages. That's all. As for the boss, the Treant King, there are a few changes, but I'll remind you when the time comes." Yulan thought, he makes it sound so easy. But in a dungeon, even the slightest difference, 1% HP, or just a couple of points in defense or magic damage, can lead to a team wipe. Let alone a 30% increase. Where does his confidence come from? Yao asked anxiously, "Nirvana Flame, are you really confident? If it doesn't work, we can just..." Before she could finish, Nirvana Flame replied, "Relax. It won't be a problem." Chenbo narrowed his eyes and thought, "I'd like to see how you plan to lead everyone through an expert-grade dungeon." The group moved forward, a strong wind blowing through the forest. Suddenly, thick roots shot out from the ground toward them. Nirvana Flame shouted, "Careful. We've entered the trance attack range. They'll use vines." Everyone spread out. In an instant, vines lashed out in all directions. Several wrapped tightly around Chenbo's arms and legs, immobilizing him. One vine burrowed into the ground, and moments later, a Treant Master emerged, towering before them. Panic spread through the group. The Treant Master's vines began dragging Chenbo toward it. Struggling helplessly, he shouted in fear, "Help! Save me! Captain Nirvana Flame, save me!" The tree demon rushed forward, dragging Chenbo with it as he shouted for help. Yulan looked at the creature and said, "It's a tree demon." Nirvana Flame quickly gave orders, "Boiled water, dumplings, attack from the right. Paladins, form a wall. Mages, use full firepower." The shield warriors stepped forward and held their ground. They raised their shields and blocked the giant tree, trying to push it back. At the same time, the mages attacked from different directions. Their spells hit the tree demon, causing a loud explosion. Its HP dropped to 0. The vines loosened and released Chenbo, who fell to the ground. He stood up angrily and shouted, "Nirvana Flame, you did that on purpose. Didn't you? You saw the tree demon earlier and didn't warn me. Otherwise, how could you stay so calm during that sudden attack?" Nirvana Flame narrowed his eyes and replied, "Chenbo, get your facts straight. We all saw the tree demon at the same time. Even the shield warriors managed to dodge it. You're a thief, yet you couldn't? I don't know how you even played that class." Flying Stone added, "Blaming others for your lack of skill is just a joke. Pick any random thief from the street. They'd probably do better than you." Chenbo, barely standing, said angrily, "You..." Before he could continue, Yulan calmly said, "Enough, Chenbo, haven't you embarrassed yourself enough?" Chenbo was stunned. "Yulan, are you taking their side too?" Nirvana Flame then said calmly, "All right, let's keep moving. There are many traps set by dark elves in the tree demon forest. I'll clear the path ahead. Since you don't know how to play a thief, I'll teach you." Sounds echoed through the forest as Nirvana Flame led the team forward at a fast pace. Suddenly, a trap appeared ahead. A thick tree branch came crashing down. Nirvana Flame noticed it instantly and warned, "Watch out." He quickly jumped from one tree to another, dodging the falling branch. As he moved forward, more traps were triggered, arrows shot out from hidden spots, but he skillfully leaped aside, avoiding them. A wire trap appeared above him, and he immediately slashed it with his blade, cutting it into pieces. Flying Stone was shocked and thought, "He's this good at playing a thief?" Yulan was also surprised. Such agility. His efficiency in disabling traps is incredible. Behind them, Chunbo felt jealous. He rushed forward and shouted, "What's so great about that? I can disable traps too." The moment his foot touched the ground, it collapsed beneath him. It was a trap. A large hole opened up, and Chunbo fell in, screaming, "I'm done for." Just as he was about to fall deeper, someone grabbed his leg. It was Nirvana Flame. He pulled Chunbo out of the trap and threw him safely onto the ground. Nirvana Flame said calmly, "Chunbo, this is the first time I've seen a thief as terrible as you." Chunbo gritted his teeth in anger. "Nirvana Flame, you set me up. I saw you walk through here, why are you fine?" Flying Stone quickly said, "You bastard. If Nirvana Flame hadn't saved you, you'd be dead by now." Nirvana Flame replied calmly, "You stepped on the trap yourself. It's not like I pushed you. Did you think every place I walk is safe? In the end, you're just not fit to play a Gale thief." Chunbo angrily pointed his sword at him. "You bastard. I won't forget this. If you've got the guts, let's duel. I'll kill you." Nirvana Flame calmly held Chunbo's blade between two fingers and said, "A duel? You'd better bring a few more people. Otherwise, it'll be too boring." Chunbo was shocked and clenched his teeth nervously. Yulan stepped in. "Enough, Chunbo. You're the one who stepped on the trap carelessly. Why are you taking your anger out on Nirvana Flame?" Yao Yao added, "Nirvana Flame saved your life, and you're still blaming him? I never thought you'd be like this." Chunbo said angrily, "This is all Nirvana Flame's fault. He set me up on purpose. He didn't tell me there was another trap here. Besides, we're your teammates. He's just an outsider. How can you side with him?" Boiled Water, the shield warrior, said calmly, "Enough, Chunbo. Nirvana Flame didn't do anything wrong. You've been targeting him this whole time, and everyone can see it." Chunbo looked at them in disbelief. "Even you guys?" He laughed bitterly. "Fine. Let's see how he leads you through this dungeon." With that, he left the party. Yao Yao stepped forward and said sadly to Nirvana Flame, "I'm sorry. I was the one who invited you to this dungeon. I didn't expect things to turn out like this." Nirvana Flame replied calmly, "It's fine. It's actually better without someone causing trouble." He thought to himself, "Looks like I'll have to form my own party from now on if I want to run dungeons." Yulan said anyway. "Let's talk about this later. For now, let's focus on clearing the dungeon." Half an hour later, Nirvana Flame said, "I scouted ahead using stealth. The path forward is completely blocked by tree demons. There are 18 of them in total." Yulan frowned. "Nirvana Flame, we can't handle that many." Nirvana Flame replied calmly, "Relax. I'm not stupid enough to make you fight all of them at once." He stepped forward, then pushed off the ground and jumped onto a tree branch above. Behind him, one of the shield warriors asked, "What is Nirvana Flame trying to do?" At that moment, Nirvana Flame opened his storage and took out a bow and arrows. Holding them, he thought, "Now I'll show you what true, god-tier pulling skills look like."
Nirvana Flame raised his 3-shot hand crossbow and fired at 3 different locations with perfect precision. The bolt shot forward at incredible speed, each hitting a separate target. Seeing this, Boiling Water Dumplings asked nervously, "Did Nirvana Flame's hand slip?" The shield warriors were also shocked. "If those arrows alert all the tree demons, we're completely doomed." Nirvana Flame landed on the ground and quickly said, "Boiled Water, get into position at 289, 288, 212. Boiled Water replied in disbelief, "Oh, okay." 2 of the arrows struck different spots, drawing several tree demons toward those locations. The 3rd arrow hit one tree demon directly, reducing its HP by 1 and pulling its aggro. Yulan was stunned. What incredible skill! To use a 3-shot hand crossbow to hit 3 different locations and pull aggro like that. I've only heard of techniques like this in Legends. She turned to Yao Yao and asked, "Where did you find such an expert?" Those 18 tree demons were so close together. If even one was alerted, the rest should have followed immediately. But Nirvana Flame not only found the perfect position, he also successfully lured most of them away. This requires amazing vision and agility. Even top-ranked thieves would struggle to do this. If our team had someone like him earlier, our dungeon survival rate would have increased by at least 30%. Yao Yao was surprised. He's actually this amazing. Boiled Water quickly took position. Seeing an opportunity, the team rushed forward while he held the line with his shield. Nirvana Flame shouted, "Boiled Water, block one tree demon. As long as you keep your balance, it won't be able to hurt you. The rest of you follow me. Focus on the other one." The team attacked from multiple directions while moving forward. Meanwhile, the tree demon facing Boiled Water grew furious, but he held his ground. Boiled Water thought, what Nirvana Flame said actually works. Yulan shouted, hang in there, Boiled Water. We've finished on our side. We're coming to help you. The group quickly surrounded the remaining tree demon and attacked together. With a final blow, the monster split into two and collapsed to the ground. It dropped an item. Yulan looked at it and said excitedly, gear dropped. And it's for mages, a bronze-grade gauntlet. Boiling Water Dumpling said in excitement, is this really an expert-grade dungeon? We got gear after killing just 2 tree demons. Pumpkin added, when we farmed the basic tree demon forest before, we never even saw any gear drop. Yao Yao looked at Nirvana Flame with a smile. How did you do that just now? That was amazing. Nirvana Flame smiled and replied, I told you, I'd lead you through an expert-grade dungeon. He stepped forward again, holding his crossbow. Alright, we'll use this method to clear all the tree demons here. Everyone replied together, got it. They repeated the same strategy. Nirvana Flame fired arrows to different locations, drawing most of the tree demons away while isolating 1 or 2 at a time. Then the team rushed in and defeated them. 20 minutes later, all the remaining tree demons had been cleared. The team gathered the dropped items and took a short rest. Yulan said, I didn't expect the loot from an expert-grade dungeon to be this incredible. We've only cleared this area, and we've already gotten so much gear. As the team talked quietly among themselves, a shadow appeared behind them. Nirvana Flame noticed it and smiled. He stood up and said, this is just the beginning. The rewards from an expert-grade tree demon forest go far beyond this. Let's rest for a bit, then we'll continue. After resting, the group moved forward. Soon, the path split into 2 directions. Nirvana Flame turned and said, head west. Yulan placed her hand on her chin and said, shouldn't we go east? If I remember correctly, the west side is a dead end. Nirvana Flame replied calmly, just follow me. I won't lead you astray. He thought to himself, this branching storyline is extremely well hidden. I'm afraid no one in the entire conviction has discovered it yet. The group followed Nirvana Flame toward the west. As they moved deeper into the forest, a soft sound echoed through the trees. Yao Yao listened carefully and asked, is that a flute? Nirvana Flame said, found him. He thought, it's him. The tree demon shepherd, La Pat, the guardian of this forest. Once, under his care, the tree demons and humans lived in harmony. But for some unknown reason, dark elves appeared in the forest. The tree demons broke free from his control and began slaughtering humans. Because of this, the Council of Elders of the Viridian Empire gathered warriors to enter the forest and subdue the tree demon king. That's the main storyline of this dungeon. The group soon saw an old man. The nameless old man looked at them and said, travelers, this is a dangerous place. The tree demons will kill any human who enters. Leave at once. Once night falls, they will gain immense power under the moonlight. Nirvana Flame placed his hand on his chest and said respectfully, Honorable Tree Demon Shepherd Lon Pat, we came here for that very reason, to eradicate the tree demons and bring them to justice. The shepherd clenched his teeth angrily. No! The ones who deserve death are those vile creatures from the underground. They are the ones who should face God's judgment. They stole my flute. They hide in the shadows, laughing to themselves. Yulan was surprised. Is he triggering a hidden storyline? How did he even find such a well-hidden NPC? She turned to Yao Yao. Just who exactly is this guy you found? Yao Yao shook her head, equally surprised. I don't know. Flying Stone was also shocked. When did Nirvana Flame get this good? Nirvana Flame thought, if we don't trigger the storyline, we won't be able to defeat the expert-grade tree demon king. He then said respectfully, yes, Honorable Shepherd. I noticed them the moment I entered the forest. May the holy light purify those monsters. Hearing this, the shepherd quickly grabbed Nirvana Flame's shoulder. Adventurer, you were able to spot them? Excellent. Those 2 dark elves stole my flute and caused chaos in the forest. He handed something over. This is the dust of appearance I created. It will leave them with nowhere to hide. Kill them and retrieve my flute. Only then will you be able to defeat the rampaging tree demon king. A system notification appeared. Acquired dungeon special item. Dust of appearance effect. Reveals all hidden creatures within a 30-yard radius. Duration. 20 seconds after receiving the item, Nirvana Flame raised his hand. Alright, we've got the special item. Let's go! He grabbed a rope hanging along the mountainside and climbed up, then jumped onto the top. The others followed him. After landing, they moved forward again. Yulan asked curiously Nirvana Flame, "Can you really find the dark elves that NPC mentioned?" Nirvana Flame replied confidently, "Of course." They soon entered a deep cave. Nirvana Flame stopped and said, "Right here. We'll corner them and capture the 2 dark elves." Yao Yao asked, "But how do you know they're here?" Nirvana Flame smirked. "Because they've been following us from the very beginning." Yao Yao looked around in shock. Nirvana Flame glanced at the shadows and said calmly, "They're already here." Nirvana Flame said to his group, "Those 2 dark elves are very timid. We need to take them down in one move. Otherwise, it'll be very hard to catch them." Meanwhile, the dark elves hid in the shadows, quietly following the group from behind as they moved deeper into the cave. Seizing the moment, Nirvana Flame threw the dust of appearance he had received from Shepherd Lombat. He smirked and said, "They took the bait." The dust spread through the air and covered the hidden elves. Instantly, their stealth was broken. They were revealed. The 2 elves looked shocked and panicked. They turned around and tried to escape. But Boiled Water and Flying Stone were already waiting. Flying Stone smirked and said, "Where do you think you're going?" Boiled Water raised his shield. "I've been waiting for you too." One of the elves leaped forward and attacked Flying Stone with sharp claws. Boiled Water quickly blocked the attack with his shield. At the same time, Flying Stone gathered magic in his hand, forming a fireball, and hurled it at the elf. The elf let out a sharp screech as it was hit. Yulan rushed forward with the others. "Let's go! We need to help." The group surrounded the elves and attacked together. The tree demon shepherd's flute is on them. Someone shouted. The second elf tried to fight back, but Nirvana Flame jumped in. He dodged the attack smoothly, then used Vital Strike, slashing the elf's neck and dealing heavy damage. The team continued attacking one after another. Finally, Yulan struck the finishing blow, and the elves were defeated. An item dropped to the ground. Nirvana Flame looked at it and said, "I finally got it." He picked it up and smiled. "With this flute, we can clear the tree demon forest." A system notification appeared. Lampat's flute. Quest item. Required level 0A flute used by the tree demon shepherd. It can make tree demons tremble. Effect. Tree demon type creatures attributes -50%. HP 300 usable only in the tree demon forest dungeon. At that moment, Yao Yao called out in surprise, "Nirvana Flame, there's something else here. Come take a look." Nirvana Flame walked over and picked it up. "Is this a letter?" The letter read, "I am the Dark Elf Fazerheen, a brave warrior. We are gathering intelligence for the tribe. The Drow tribe will launch a counterattack on Hilton Fortress. When that time comes, I will return to the battlefield." Another system notification appeared. Branching storyline triggered. Deliver the secret letter to Warlord Kavirat to warn him of the Drow tribe's counterattack. Yao Yao looked confused. "Nirvana Flame, what does it say? I can't read it at all. Is it in Elvish?" Nirvana Flame replied, "It's part of a branching storyline. We can turn it in after we clear the tree demon forest and return to the city." Boiled Water smiled and said, "What an unexpected surprise." Boiling Water Dumplings also smiled. "I wonder how much reward we'll get for turning this in." Nirvana Flame walked over and tossed the flute to Boiled Water. "You're the team's main tank. You should take the flute." Boiled Water caught it and looked shocked. "Holy! It adds 300 HP. I won't even be afraid to face the Tree Demon King now." Nirvana Flame turned and said, "Let's go." Everyone, now full of excitement, replied, "Okay. Let's move out." Flying Stone smiled as he walked forward. "This kid, Nie Yan, is really good." At first, the team doubted him, but their attitude changed so quickly. He thought to himself, "That's my brother for you." Soon, the sounds of battle echoed through the forest again. The team attacked together from all directions, surrounding another tree demon. After taking multiple hits, the monster collapsed. Boiled Water picked up the dropped item and said in surprise, "Damn! A bronze-grade buckler that adds 10% defense. None of the shields I've farmed before come close to this." The others were also happy. Yulan turned to Nirvana Flame and said, "I know this may be a bit much to ask. After all, we only got this gear because of you. But I'd like to buy this buckler from you." She thought, "With this buckler, our team might be able to handle higher-level dungeons even without him." Nirvana Flame placed his hand on his chin and smiled. I only need thief gear and the featherfall jewel from the Tree Demon King. I'll sell the rest anyway, so it doesn't matter who buys it. Since you need it, just take it. Yulan smiled. Thank you. Yao Yao felt a bit ashamed. I'm sorry, Nirvana Flame. It feels like we're taking advantage of you. But, thank you. Suddenly, tree vines burst out from the ground. More and more vines shot up in front of the team. Nirvana Flame shouted, "Watch out." He slashed several vines with his blade, then narrowed his eyes. Everyone, be careful. The boss is here. Get ready, form up. Shield warriors, step forward and wait for my command. A system notification appeared. Tree Demon King, level 4 lower grade HP, 10,000. The shield warriors moved forward into position. The Tree Demon King roared angrily, "Damn humans. How dare you trespass into my territory?" It swung its massive arm at Nirvana Flame. Die! Nirvana Flame quickly jumped back and dodged the attack. Another strike came, but he bent low and avoided it again with ease. The team watched in shock. Yulan said nervously, "What? How can a level 2 thief handle a level 4 lower grade boss so easily? I've never seen such a powerful thief before." Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame dodged another attack and shouted, "Boiled water, step up. Melee classes, stay behind him. Mages, do not come within 30 yards of the boss." Boiled water rushed forward and struck the Tree Demon King with his shield, dealing 36 damage. Damn! Its defense is so high. Nirvana Flame stepped forward and commanded, "Mages, attack." The mages unleashed their full power from a safe distance, casting spells from over 30 yards away, while everyone held their positions. A massive explosion rang out, and the Tree Demon King's HP began to drop. 15. 36. 50. Smoke filled the entire area. Enraged, the Tree Demon King swung its massive arm at Boiled Water. He raised his shield and blocked the attack, but the force was overwhelming. His HP dropped by 78. Nirvana Flame shouted, "Boiled Water, use the flute." While holding his shield, Boiled Water activated Lampat's flute. System notification. Lampat's flute activated. Trend-type enemy stats reduced by 50%. The sound of the flute echoed, and the Tree Demon King was momentarily distracted. Nirvana Flame seized the chance and shouted, "Mages, prioritize fire element spells. No ice spells. The boss has high resistance to ice." "Got it," the team replied. Flying Stone grinned as flames gathered in his hand. "Fire spells? That's my specialty." Nirvana Flame then turned to a teammate. "Are you a priest?" She nodded nervously. "Yes." "Do you have Dispel?" "Yes, I do." Nirvana Flame pointed toward Boiled Water. "Keep your eyes on him. The boss is about to cast Fear. If he gets crowd controlled, cleanse him immediately." "Understood." Nirvana Flame gave her a reassuring smile. "Don't be nervous. Just relax. I'll call it. Cast Dispel the moment I say." Moments later, the Tree Demon King unleashed a powerful fear spell. Boiled Water was affected. His movements faltered as panic set in. "Now! Cleanse him!" Nirvana Flame shouted. The priest quickly cast a spell, and the effect was removed instantly. "Perfect cleanse," Nirvana Flame said. The priest smiled in relief. It worked. The team surrounded the boss and attacked from all sides. Mages cast spells, Yulan used sword techniques, and everyone contributed. Slowly but surely, the Tree Demon King's HP dropped. The boss roared in fury. HP 2953/10,000. Its eyes glowed, and its aura grew darker. Nirvana Flame shouted, "Brace yourselves. It's entering its enraged phase." Yulan gritted her teeth. "I didn't know it had an enraged phase." The Tree Demon King attacked Boiled Water relentlessly. Nirvana Flame rushed over and commanded, "Boiled Water, switch to defensive stance. Priests, drink mana potions and spam heals." The priests quickly used their potions and began healing non-stop. Even with his shield, Boiled Water's HP dropped sharply. 220 damage from a single hit. "The damage is too high. I can't hold this for long," he shouted, but the continuous healing kept him alive. Regaining confidence, he held his shield firmly with both hands and blocked again. "If it weren't for those heals and Lampat's flute, I wouldn't have survived that." He quickly used a health potion and added, "So this is why Nirvana Flame told us to stock up on potions." The Tree Demon King raised its arm and formed a massive hammer, then slammed it down. The ground shook violently, and the entire team felt the impact. At that moment, Nirvana Flame dashed forward. Hurry! The boss is low on HP. Focus fire and finish it. Boiled Water jumped in and used Heroic Strike. Yulan followed with Holy Light Slash, while the others unleashed their strongest attacks. Seeing an opening, Nirvana Flame threw his blade with full force. It struck the Tree Demon King's face. He immediately followed up with Vital Strike, leaping forward and driving the blade deeper. Green liquid spilled from the boss as Nirvana Flame jumped back. Moments later, the Tree Demon King's body trembled, then collapsed and split apart. The boss was defeated. The team stood in disbelief. The Tree Demon King is dead? We actually cleared it, someone said. Yao Yao smiled. I never thought our party could beat an expert-level dungeon. The priest added, it's all thanks to Nirvana Flame's commands. Without him, I would have panicked. Boiled Water laughed. Yeah, I never thought I could tank an expert boss. This feeling. It's like my very first dungeon clear. Suddenly, everyone leveled up, one after another. Nirvana Flame walked over to the dropped items. Finally. Got it. He picked up one item and smiled. My Featherfall Jewel? All this effort was for this. System notification, Featherfall Jewel quality, dark gold, level requirement, 0 type, accessory, equip or socket, stats, defense 8, strength 7 effect, greatly reduces the user's weight, allowing them to fall as lightly as a feather for 3 minutes.
Nirvana Flame leveled up as well. Feeling both happy and surprised, he said, I've reached level 3 too. A system notification appeared. Expert grade Treant Forest dungeon cleared. Team Glory 1200. Boiled Water Shield exclaimed excitedly. It actually added 1200 Team Glory points. The other teammates were also shocked. One of them said, I've never seen it increase by this much at once. Nirvana Flame turned to Yao Yao and said, you guys can distribute the rest of the loot yourselves. I won't interfere. Next, we just need to head to Carol City and turn in the quest. Hearing that, one teammate shouted with excitement, right. There are also side quest rewards. Yulan gratefully said to Nirvana Flame. Thank you. I don't even know how to properly repay you. At the teleportation point in Carol City, the team arrived together. Meanwhile, Chenbo was hiding nearby, watching them. They're back. How did they all level up? He thought, clenching his teeth in anger. Nirvana Flame. I'll remember you. The humiliation you brought me, I will never forget it. The scene shifted to the Carol City barracks. Nirvana Flame and his teammates arrived, where the warlord, Kavarat, stood with his sword. He asked, young man, what brings you here? Nirvana Flame calmly replied, respected Lord Warlord, we captured 2 dark elves in the Treant Forest and obtained some intelligence regarding Hilton Fortress. After reading the report, Kavarat looked surprised. Then, with a smile, he said, young man, you've been a great help to us. I will prepare a reward for you. A system notification appeared. Treant Forest dungeon side quest completed. Deliver the message Hilton Fortress Respect 12 Carol City Respect 10. Experience 32,320 Kavarat has imparted combat skills to you. Strength 2 silver coins 2. Obtain skill book. Stunned Nirvana Flame felt delighted and thought, I didn't expect to gain 2 strength and a skill book. This hidden quest really paid off. Afterward, Nirvana Flame said to Yao Yao, now that the quest is turned in, we should get going. Yao Yao asked, what are you planning to do next? Grind monsters and level up, of course, Nirvana Flame replied. He then thought, now that I've obtained the Featherfall Jewel, I can try fighting the elite monster, Lion King Kato. Yao Yao turned around, waved happily, and said, alright then, see you next time. After I sell the gear, I'll mail you your share. Nirvana Flame nodded, see you next time. Suddenly, Flying Stone grabbed Nirvana Flame's leg and said eagerly, Brother Yan. After running a dungeon with you, I'm convinced. Please teach me how to play an arcane mage. Nirvana Flame replied a bit nervously. Sure. But first, let's go get some new gear. A few minutes later, they arrived at the blacksmith's shop. Nirvana Flame obtained new equipment, bronze gauntlets, 2 agility, bronze battledeer leather armor, 2 strength, bronze soft leather leg guards, 3 agility, bronze horse leather boots, 2 defense. After equipping them, Nirvana Flame felt much stronger. Flying Stone was amazed by the upgrades. Nirvana Flame turned to him and said, let's go. We're heading to the Rhine Hills to level up. I'll teach you how to play an arcane mage on the way. Flying Stone felt thrilled hearing that. At the Rhine Hills, lightning flashed across the sky. Nirvana Flame said, the caves here are full of bat monsters. They drop bat teeth. I'll give you 1 hour, let's see how many you can collect. Flying Stone confidently waved his hand. Watch me. He rushed into the cave. As a bat monster flew toward him, he cast fire magic and burned it down. With a smirk, he said, "Got one already." Outside the cave, Nirvana Flame watched and said, "In that case, I can't stay idle either." He rushed in as well, cutting down bat monsters one by one, collecting bat teeth. After a while, he thought, half an hour has passed. I wonder how Tang Yao is doing. Suddenly, Flying Stone's voice rang out in panic. "Nie Yan! Save me! I'm being blocked by a red name player." When Nirvana Flame heard this, he frowned. A red name player? He thought. If I'm not mistaken, they should be from the Radiant Sacred Flame Guild. He immediately rushed toward Flying Stone and said through the communicator, "Hide well. I'll be there right away." Flying Stone replied while running, "It's fine. Luckily the terrain in the Rhine Hills is complicated. I'm taking detours to keep them busy, so they won't catch me anytime soon." Nirvana Flame sped up and asked, "How did you run into them?" Flying Stone replied breathlessly, "I don't know either. I was just killing bat monsters when I stumbled upon a level 3 leader monster. I wanted to call you over so we could fight it together, but I didn't expect to get ambushed. They look like the type of red name players who specialize in killing people and stealing equipment." "I understand," Nirvana Flame replied calmly. "Keep leading them in circles. I'll go have some fun with them." Soon, Nirvana Flame reached the top of a cliff and looked down from above. As expected. "Someone is guarding the entrance," he muttered. On the other side, a level 3 elemental mage named Dian Sung spoke to his teammates. "You still haven't caught that kid yet?" One of his teammates, holding a sword, replied nervously, "Don't worry, Boss Dian Sung. He won't escape." Then he sneered. "Besides, that kid doesn't look like he has any good equipment on him. Just a poor loser." From above the cliff, Nirvana Flame smirked. "If a red name player is killed, all of their equipment will drop," he thought. "If I'm not mistaken, that red name elemental mage is wearing the Fire Chaser set." He activated his stealth skill and quietly jumped down from the cliff. However, he thought cautiously, since they dare to block people while already being red name players, they must be confident in their strength. I can't underestimate them. Using stealth, Nirvana Flame silently approached them from behind. Suddenly, Dian Sung turned around as if sensing something. One of his teammates asked, "Boss Dian Sung, what's wrong?" Dian Sung's eyes narrowed as he noticed Nirvana Flame rushing toward them with a blade in hand. Dian Sung quickly jumped backward and said coldly, "Kid, I've been waiting for you for a long time." With a smirk, he cast Violent Fire Ring and sneered, "Got your eyes on my equipment? But do you have the life to take it?" Watching the scene, one of Dian Sung's teammates shouted, "It's a thief! Kill him!" Nirvana Flame immediately used a speed scroll, speed 20% for 30 seconds. This elemental mage knows how to play, Nirvana Flame thought seriously. I can't let him create distance. Nirvana Flame was struck by a fire spell, and his HP dropped by 35. Instantly, he activated self-defense mode. A system notification appeared, self-defense mode activated. You are under attack by another player. You may retaliate without penalty. Duration, 30 minutes. As the flames faded, Nirvana Flame gripped his dagger and dashed forward. Dian Sung was shocked to see him suddenly appear right in front of him. Damn it! This lunatic is tanking my ring of fire just to close the gap. How is he so fast? He thought in panic. Without hesitation, Nirvana Flame used Assassinate, driving his dagger into Dian Sung's stomach. Dian Sung's HP dropped by 40. Dian Sung quickly stepped back, raised his staff, and began casting Scorching Pyroblast to push Nirvana Flame away. At the same time, one of Dian Sung's subordinates leapt high into the air, his sword engulfed in flames. Watch out! He used the Scroll of Swiftness. He shouted as he came down from behind. Nirvana Flame didn't move from his spot. He simply turned and blocked the burning blade with his dagger. However, another subordinate landed a hit on him from the side, reducing his HP by 13. From a distance, another subordinate smirked and cast a holy attack. Eat this, holy light, you damn rat! But Nirvana Flame didn't hesitate. He deflected the burning blade and immediately dashed toward Dian Sung again. The attacker's strike hit only the ground. While rushing forward, Nirvana Flame calculated quickly, Scorching Pyroblast has a cast time of 5 seconds. I can reach him before he finishes. Dian Sung was still channeling his spell, but before he could complete it, Nirvana Flame struck again, his dagger piercing Dian Sung's stomach once more. His HP dropped by another 30, and he staggered, nearly losing consciousness. Nirvana Flame didn't stop. He continued his relentless assault. Another strike dropped Dian Sung's HP by 20, then another by 18. The next attack was aimed straight for his neck. Dian Sung barely managed to jump back and dodge it. Shit! Are you guys deaf? What the hell are you doing? Get him off me, now! He shouted in panic. Nirvana Flame kept pressing forward. Meanwhile, Dian-Seng's subordinates rushed in to assist. Boss, this thief is way too fast. I've never seen movement speed like this. We can't catch him. One of them shouted. Another subordinate, wielding a massive sword, activated charge and lunged at Nirvana Flame. But Nirvana Flame swiftly dodged, repositioned, and leapt into the air. From above, he brought his dagger down in a deadly arc toward Dian-Seng. Dian-Seng's eyes widened in fear. Nirvana Flame used Vital Strike. His blade sliced clean across Dian-Seng's neck. His HP dropped by 60. Dian-Seng collapsed. Nirvana Flame landed lightly on the ground. A system notification appeared. You have killed a red name player. Reputation 1. Higher reputation grants easier access to quests and unlocks vendor discounts in cities. One of Dian-Seng's subordinates immediately rushed forward, his blade blazing with fire. Seeing his boss fall, he shouted. Boss Dian-Seng dropped his entire inventory. Get it back, quick! But Nirvana Flame was faster. He had already looted everything. Smirking, he said, got it? The fire chaser set his mind. Enraged, the subordinate swung his flaming sword and used linear strike. Nirvana Flame dodged, but the edge of the attack still clipped him, reducing his HP by 17. Without wasting time, Nirvana Flame activated his movement skill and began to retreat at high speed. The remaining two subordinates chased after him. Don't let him get away! The one with the huge blade shouted angrily. We're dead if Boss Dian-Seng asks what happened. An attack struck Nirvana Flame from behind, dropping his HP by another 16. He glanced back briefly but kept running. While moving, he used Combat Bandage. My movement speed is too high. They can't catch me, he thought confidently. The mage who had been attacking from a distance noticed what was happening and exclaimed in shock, crap. He's using a bandage skill. He's healing. Nirvana Flame smirked. My HP is fully restored, and my cooldowns are reset. He tightened his grip on his dagger, twisted on his heel, and suddenly turned back. With a burst of speed, he leapt toward the warrior with the large blade. You're next. The man froze for a split second, then roared in anger and charged forward, swinging his massive sword with full force. But Nirvana Flame jumped, landing briefly on the flat of the blade itself. In the same motion, he activated Vital Strike, slashing across the man's neck. His HP dropped by 55. Before the man could react, Nirvana Flame shifted his stance, stepped onto his back, and drove his dagger into him with Assassinate. His HP dropped by another 38. Gritting his teeth, the warrior swung his sword wildly, flames erupting from it as he forced Nirvana Flame back. Get off me! Nirvana Flame flipped backward, landing lightly on his feet. Without hesitation, he switched weapons, pulling out his triple arrow bow mechanism, and fired. 3 arrows shot forward in rapid succession, each hitting their mark. Each arrow dealt 5 damage, pushing the warrior back further. The man's face turned pale as he looked at the arrows embedded in his body. Crap. I'm almost dead. Panicking, he yanked the arrows out and turned to flee. I'm literally 1 hit away. If I keep chasing this thief, I'll lose all my gear too. Nirvana Flame watched him calmly for a moment, then dashed forward. In an instant, he caught up from behind. Think you can run? The man's eyes widened in terror, sweat pouring down his face. Damn it! Before he could escape, Nirvana Flame slashed his neck. The man let out a scream as blood sprayed, and he collapsed to the ground. All his gear dropped instantly. Nirvana Flame calmly collected the loot. Then, holding his dagger, he turned toward the last remaining subordinate, the mage. You're next. The mage trembled, fear written all over his face. How am I the only one left? He stammered. How is a squishy priest supposed to fight a thief one-on-one? Nirvana Flame stepped forward slowly. A dark, oppressive aura seemed to rise behind him, like a monster approaching its prey. The mage panicked, completely unsure of what to do. With a faint blue glow flickering in his eyes, Nirvana Flame smirked and said, You looked pretty happy earlier. When you were spamming holy light on me, didn't you? A loud sound echoed through the air. Dian-Seng's subordinate had been defeated, dropping all of his items. Nirvana Flame quickly checked the loot he had collected: a Fire Chaser headdress with 5 fire damage, Fire Chaser gauntlets with 5 accuracy, a Fire Chaser robe with 10 fire damage, Fire Chaser leg guards with 5 defense, and Fire Chaser boots with 2 speed. He muttered to himself, it really is the Fire Chaser set. A smile spread across his face as he continued, the Fire Chaser is a bronze grade set, perfect for Tang Yao since he uses fire magic. As for the other gear, I can just sell it. Nirvana Flame then contacted Tang Yao and asked, Where are you right now? Send me your coordinates. Tang Yao replied. I'm at 231.395.285. There's a cave here spawning level 5 monsters. I'm hiding in a corner and haven't dared to come out. I'll head over right now, Nirvana Flame responded. He then sent Tang Yao images of the Fire Chaser set. Seeing the images, Tang Yao was shocked. This is the Fire Chaser set? Nie Yan, where did you get this? Nirvana Flame laughed. I killed one of their red name players. This is his gear, perfect for you. Hearing this, Tang Yao felt overjoyed. My god. I'm not dreaming, am I? You killed a red-named player from Radiant Sacred Flame, and even got them to drop the entire Fire Chaser set? Nirvana Flame replied calmly. When have I ever lied to you? Tang Yao laughed excitedly. This is amazing. Brother, this feels so incredibly satisfying. Even if I die here today, it'll be worth it. Standing at a higher point on the mountain, he looked down below. Noticing movement in the distance, he muttered, wait for it. I'll take out a few more of them. Deep within the forest, the sound of footsteps echoed through the air. It was Dian Seng's subordinates, 6 of them, moving forward cautiously while scanning their surroundings. One of them suddenly checked his system window and exclaimed in shock, Boss Dian Seng is dead. Hearing this, the others were stunned. One of them asked in disbelief, how is that possible? With Boss Dian Seng's strength, plus the Fire Chaser set, there should be very few people who can defeat him, right? Another, looking equally shaken, added. Exactly. Boss Dian Seng's magic damage ranks at least in the top 10 of the guild, and his skills aren't weak either. If I remember correctly, he's a red name. If he dies, then all of his gear. Before he could finish, one of the men wearing armor turned toward them and said grimly, that's right. It all dropped. One of them quickly asked, who did it? It must have been a large group, right? Are they trying to provoke a war between guilds? The armored man shook his head and replied, the opponent was just a single thief. The group froze in shock. Just one person? One of them repeated in disbelief. How is that even possible? Another asked. Weren't there 3 people with Boss Dian Seng? The armored man swallowed hard. Fear evident in his voice as he recalled the scene. That's right. All 3 of them were killed by a single thief. A level 3 thief. The others were stunned once again. One of them muttered, is this world going crazy? Are you sure you're not mistaken? Another covered his face in shock and said, a level 3 thief. Killed Boss Dian Seng and his entire team of 3? One of Dian Seng's shield warriors spoke firmly, it's not a mistake. This news was personally confirmed by Boss Dian Seng himself. The mustache man, still in shock, asked, what's the name of that thief? The shield warrior replied, it's Nirvana Flame. He's most likely the teammate of that arcane mage. As they continued moving forward, the shield warrior added, Radiant Sacred Flame has issued an internal kill order. Anyone who kills him even once will be rewarded with 5 silver coins. However, Boss Dian Seng warned us to be extra careful. If we encounter him, we need a party of at least 3 people before provoking him. Hidden far away in a tree, Nirvana Flame listened to their conversation. Watching them closely, he smirked and thought, 5 silver coins. I didn't expect to be worth that much. A kill order from Radiant Sacred Flame. Interesting. I'd like to see how you plan to hunt me down. Activating his stealth skill, he silently followed behind them. You idiots, relying on your guild's power to bully solo players, he thought coldly. I'll let you witness the fury of a solo player. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed from behind the trees. Dian Seng's subordinates immediately turned toward the sound. One of them asked nervously, what was that noise? Could it be that thief? At that moment, a monster emerged. Horned Deer Leader grade monster level, 5, HP, 200/200, one of them exclaimed. It's the Horned Deer Leader. The shield warrior quickly raised his shield and said, it seems to be the only horned deer nearby. We won't be able to find that arcane mage or the thief anytime soon, so we might as well take this Horned Deer Leader down first. Watching the situation unfold, Nirvana Flame's eyes gleamed. Still concealed in stealth, he thought, my chance has come. The shield warrior charged forward with his shield raised, while the 2 swordsmen followed closely behind with their weapons ready. The 2 mages stayed at the back, preparing their spells. The Horned Deer Leader also rushed toward them. The shield warrior met it head-on, using his speed to intercept and raising his shield to block the incoming attack. From behind, the 2 swordsmen struck the beast repeatedly. Its HP dropped to 122, then quickly fell again to 18 after another hit. The mages launched their spells from a distance, their attacks hitting the target directly. The Horned Deer Leader's HP continued to fall, 15, then 16 more. Both mages smirked with confidence. Watch us, one of them said. In just half a minute, we'll finish off this Horned Deer Leader, the other added as they laughed. Completely focused on the monster, none of them noticed Nirvana Flame approaching from behind in stealth mode. Silently, he rushed forward, gripping his dagger tightly. In a swift motion, he raised it and plunged it into one of the mage's backs. The mage stumbled forward in shock, but before he could react, Nirvana Flame struck again, driving the dagger deeper. The mage screamed in pain as his HP dropped by 35. Nirvana Flame didn't stop. He continued his relentless attacks, causing the mage's HP to fall rapidly. Panicking, the mage tried to take out a healing potion, but Nirvana Flame slashed it apart before he could use it. In the next instant, Nirvana Flame drove his dagger straight into the mage's chest. The mage's HP dropped to 0. How is this possible? He gasped before collapsing. Nirvana Flame smirked, pulling back his dagger. That's one down. The other mage was still dazed, struggling to steady himself as he muttered, "What happened? Where are my teammates?" Suddenly, a dagger struck his back, causing his HP to drop. He gritted his teeth from the sudden pain and quickly turned around to see who had attacked him. Without hesitation, he cast Holy Light, and the spell struck Nirvana Flame directly, causing his HP to drop as well. Meanwhile, on the other side, the shield warrior continued to hold his ground against the horned deer leader, blocking its attacks with his shield. Frowning, he said, "This is strange. Where's our ranged DPS? Why is there no sound from them?" His gaze suddenly shifted, and he spotted a flash of holy light in the distance. His expression changed instantly. "Oh no! We're being ambushed. It's probably that damn thief." One of the swordsmen behind him asked nervously, "Then what should we do now?" The mustached man added anxiously, "We're being attacked from both sides. And the horned deer leader still has its aggro on us." The shield warrior shouted decisively, "Focus your attacks. Burst down the horned deer leader first, then turn around and kill that thief." The shield warrior from the Radiant Sacred Flame Guild held his ground, bracing his shield as he clashed with the horned deer leader. Both pushed against each other with full force, either willing to give way. Suddenly, one of the swordsmen rushed forward and swung his blade at the beast's neck. The strike landed cleanly, causing its HP to drop once more. The horned deer leader let out a pained cry as blood spilled from its mouth, and moments later, it collapsed to the ground, its HP reduced to 0. Meanwhile, on the other side, Nirvana Flame had just finished off the second mage. As he quickly collected the dropped loot, he looked up and saw the remaining 3 enemies. "I was a step too late," he muttered. The remaining members of the Radiant Sacred Flame Guild had lost a significant amount of HP. They turned to face Nirvana Flame as he stepped forward. Nirvana Flame narrowed his eyes. "They're all low on HP, but 3 melee classes grouped together aren't easy to deal with. I can't risk a reckless attack." On the other side, the shield warrior, visibly exhausted, said, "2 more down. Our Radiant Sacred Flame Guild has already lost 5 members to this thief. I've already called for backup. The guild's main force will be here any second." Hearing this, Nirvana Flame laughed. "Are you kidding me? It's a 3v1 and you're too scared to push? If you're just going to stand there, I'm leaving." The shield warrior replied, "I know what you're trying to do, bait us out and pick us off one by one. Do you think we're stupid? As long as we stick together, you can't touch us." Nirvana Flame smirked. "Backup is on the way. So they're just stalling for time." He turned around, waved his hand casually, and said, "See you. We'll play again some other time." Hearing this, the Radiant Sacred Flame members immediately rushed toward him as he began to retreat. "Damn it! He's running!" the shield warrior shouted. "Our backup is here, pin him down." At that moment, reinforcements arrived, rushing into the area. But by the time they reached the scene, Nirvana Flame had already vanished. "Where did he go?" one of them shouted. "We lost him," the shield warrior replied. "Spread out and search the area. Don't let that rat escape," another yelled. But Nirvana Flame had already activated his stealth skill, moving swiftly beyond their reach. Even as they searched frantically, they couldn't track him. He leapt onto a high cliff and, upon reaching the top, glanced back with a confident smile. "I know this map better than anyone," he muttered. "You'll never catch me. Let those Radiant Sacred Flame idiots run around in circles. Time to check on Tang Yao." Meanwhile, Tang Yao was hiding in a corner inside a cave, avoiding the monsters around him. "Nie Yan, I'm inside the rock spider cave, coordinates 352, 238, 235. It's swarming with level 5 rock spiders. Those radiant guys will never expect me to hide here," he said. As he spoke, Nirvana Flame suddenly appeared in front of him. Tang Yao jumped in shock. "Damn! How did you even get past them?" Nirvana Flame smirked. "Stealth, obviously." He then handed over the equipment. "All right, equip this set first." Tang Yao's eyes lit up as he looked at it. "The fire chaser set? For me?" Nirvana Flame nodded. I looted it off Dian Tsang from Radiant Sacred Flame. It's a perfect build for you. Hurry up and equip it. Tang Yao quickly put on the set, excitement written all over his face. With the full Fire Chaser set, my magic damage just jumped to 50. Nirvana Flame nodded calmly. Not bad. With that kind of DPS, we can start taking on some high difficulty quests. As Nirvana Flame stepped forward, he said to Tang Yao, follow my lead. If I remember correctly, there's a silver chest in this cave, he thought. With Tang Yao wearing the Fire Chaser set, our DPS should be more than enough. Suddenly, Nirvana Flame dashed ahead at full speed. Tang Yao, surprised, called out, Nie Yan, what are you doing? There's a silver chest here, Nirvana Flame replied. Let's clear out the rock spiders at the choke point first. He pulled out his triple-shot crossbow and aimed at the approaching spiders, firing a volley of arrows. The shots struck the level 5 rock spiders, causing their HP to drop. At the same time, Tang Yao gathered arcane flames in his hands and launched them forward. The fire slammed into the spiders, dealing massive damage. The rock spiders became enraged. Tang Yao stared at his hands in disbelief. I'm hitting this hard against mobs 2 levels higher than me? Is this the power of the Fire Chaser set? Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame activated his Assassinate skill, leaping forward and driving his dagger straight into a rock spider's head. Its HP plummeted. Don't just stand there, back me up. Nirvana Flame called out. On it. Tang Yao replied, quickly gathering flames again and unleashing another attack. The rock spider's HP dropped to 0, and it collapsed. I can't believe we're actually farming mobs 2 levels above us, Tang Yao said excitedly. Keep up the pace, Nirvana Flame replied. The two continued hunting the rock spiders efficiently. Nirvana Flame drew their attention with swift dagger strikes, while Tang Yao supported from a distance with powerful fire spells. One by one, the monsters fell. As they advanced deeper into the cave, Tang Yao suddenly spotted something ahead. It's really here? Nie Yan, how did you know about this silver chest? I noticed it while making my way to you, Nirvana Flame replied casually. Tang Yao stared at the chest in awe. Damn. But neither of us has the lockpicking skill. What do we do? There's got to be god-tier loot inside. Before Nirvana Flame could answer, a massive spider emerged in front of them. Relax, Nirvana Flame said calmly. The developers of Conviction are pretty generous. Usually, the key is hidden somewhere near the chest. As he spoke, the giant spider charged toward them at full speed. Rock Spider Chieftain rank level, 5, HP, 180 as the Rock Spider Chieftain let out a loud, terrifying screech as it revealed itself. Tang Yao panicked. Damn! A Rock Spider Chieftain. What's the plan? This is a level 5 Chieftain boss. Nirvana Flame smirked. We nuke it. Activating his stealth skill, he rushed forward and shouted, keep your distance, at least 20 yards. Stay within the choke point, and don't kite it too far, or you'll aggro the other spiders. Got it. Tang Yao replied as he ran, the chieftain chasing after him. He quickly turned, waved his hand, and cast an arcane fireball. Get off me! The massive fireball struck the rock spider chieftain directly, causing its HP to drop. Nirvana Flame grinned. Fire spells have a huge damage multiplier against it. We can actually pull this off. Nirvana Flame gripped his dagger and rushed toward the giant spider. I'll control the field, leave the DPS to you. He called out to Tang Yao. No problem, Tang Yao replied, gathering flames in his hand. Nirvana Flame leapt forward, activating a stun skill as he struck the spider's head. Its HP dropped by 10. Now's the time, he shouted, quickly jumping back as the giant spider let out a furious roar. From a distance, Tang Yao unleashed an arcane fireball. It hit the spider directly, dealing another 20 damage. However, as the flames faded, the spider roared again, shrugging off the burning effect. Clinging to a wall above, Nirvana Flame felt the tremor of the creature's rage. Careful, it's awake, he warned. He dropped to the ground, but the giant spider immediately lunged at him, striking with its legs. The hit landed critically, knocking Nirvana Flame to the ground as his HP dropped sharply to 78. Quickly, he used a combat bandage to recover. It's using a reckless, mutually destructive attack. It's enraged. Stay back. Keep moving, and watch out for its earth spikes. Tang Yao's eyes widened in shock as spikes suddenly erupted beneath him. He barely managed to dodge by jumping back. Damn. If we hadn't killed that rock spider earlier, this one being 3 levels above us would have skewered us by now. After recovering, Nirvana Flame rushed back into battle. We're relying on your DPS. I'll hold it off. Wait. Let me recover my mana first, Tang Yao said. Quickly drinking a low-level instant mana recovery potion, Moments later, he raised his staff again, gathering fire mana. My mana's full, go to hell! He shouted, launching another arcane fireball. The attack struck the rock spider chieftain directly, erupting into a massive explosion that set it ablaze. As the creature writhed in pain, Nirvana Flame seized the opportunity. He leapt high into the air and drove his dagger into its head with a vital strike, dealing another 30 damage. The spider screamed one last time before collapsing. Tang Yao, exhausted, stared at it in disbelief. Is it over? He fell back onto the ground, breathing heavily. Oh my god! I'm exhausted. I didn't expect us to actually kill a rock spider leader that's 2 levels above us. Nie Yan. I just realized, I'm actually this awesome. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame calmly collected the dropped items. Skill book, method strike after casting, summons 5 fireballs that sweep across enemies. Each fireball deals 45 to 110 damage and inflicts continuous burning damage of 40 within a 5x5 area. Cooldown, 120 seconds casting time, 5 seconds restrictions, Elemental Mage, Arcane Mage, Fallen Priest, Light Cleric, Skill Book, block allows the user to parry physical attacks. Cooldown, 30 seconds on successful parry, reduces stamina by 200 points. Restrictions, Fierce Warrior, Warrior, Paladin, usable by any faction, item, silver key used to open level 0 to 20 chests below gold grade. Uses remaining, March 4th. Nirvana Flame tossed the dropped skill book to Tang Yao and said with a smile, Tang Yao, good luck, this is Meteor Strike. It's an incredibly powerful AoE damage skill in the early game, and even in the mid to late game, it remains excellent for grinding monsters. Tang Yao was surprised to hear that. He smiled and asked, really? Nirvana Flame replied calmly, it's not bad. Although, compared to Sanctuary Magic, Giant Magic, and Dragon Magic, it's still a bit lacking. Holding the Meteor Strike book, Tang Yao frowned slightly in confusion. Sanctuary Magic? Dragon Magic? Nie Yan, what are you talking about? Nirvana Flame simply smiled. It's nothing, you'll see them in the future. Suddenly, he turned and ran back toward the silver chest. Let's open the treasure chest first. After arriving, Nirvana Flame used the silver key to unlock it. As the chest opened, a system notification appeared. System notification, silver key uses remaining, 2. Looking inside the chest, Nirvana Flame's eyes lit up. This is a Weaver's Ring. This is an amazing item for scaling walls, climbing trees, and leaping off cliffs. System notification, Weaver's Ring quality, bronze grade, level requirement, 0 attributes, shoots a tough strand of spider silk that sticks to objects. Maximum length, 5 yards. Maximum load-bearing capacity, 200 pounds. Cooldown, 20 seconds, weight, 1 pound. Restrictions, usable by any faction. Tang Yao stroked his chin and said, it looks like a piece of trash equipment. Why are you so excited? Nirvana Flame smiled as he held the ring. This is a divine artifact for the thief class. Then he added, by the way, have you learned Meteor Strike yet? Tang Yao nodded. Yeah, I've already learned it. Why? Nirvana Flame said, it's time for you to cast Meteor Strike. In front of them, a swarm of rock spiders rushed forward in anger. Nirvana Flame added, I'll pull the aggro, start chanting. With that, he dashed off. Okay. Tang Yao replied. Nirvana Flame weaved left and right, skillfully dodging the rock spiders as he circled behind them, drawing their attention. On the other side, Tang Yao clenched his teeth as he faced the incoming swarm. Oh my god! There are so many! And this damn skill, why does it take so long to chant? As he continued chanting, a massive fireball began forming in his hands. Flames burned intensely, reflected even in his eyes, as the fire mana gathered into a blazing sphere. Meteor Strike! The spell launched forward, crashing directly into the rock spiders. A massive explosion erupted, engulfing them in flames and burning everything in its path. On the other side, Nirvana Flame quickly moved in, finishing off the surviving spiders with precise dagger strikes. Good job, he called out to Tang Yao. Tang Yao stared at the aftermath in disbelief. I did this? To think such powerful magic was actually cast by me. Nirvana Flame landed beside him and tapped his shoulder. What are you spacing out for? Let's go, we're heading deeper. Tang Yao nervously scratched his head. Nirvana Flame. My mana is completely drained. I've used up all my instant potions too. Nirvana Flame paused. Oops, I forgot. Using Meteor Strike at your level would completely exhaust your mana. He then thought to himself, if I remember correctly, deep within the rock spider cave lies one of the most important items in the entire game. Tang Yao spoke hesitantly, how about you take me to a safe area? I'll return to the city first. Otherwise, I'll just slow you down. Nirvana Flame nodded. Alright. I'll also take this chance to teach you some arcane mage techniques. After some time, Nirvana Flame led Tang Yao to a safe spot. Tang Yao used the return city scroll. Smiling, he said, Nirvana Flame, I'm heading off. Thanks to you, this turned into a blessing in disguise. Not only did those guys not find me, but I also learned Meteor Strike. Nirvana Flame smiled calmly. We're brothers, after all. Rain began to fall heavily around them. With a flash of light, Tang Yao teleported back to the city, leaving Nirvana Flame alone. Nirvana Flame then turned and stepped deeper into the cave, rain dripping from his body. As he walked, he thought, I remember. Deep within this rock spider cave lies one of the volumes of the Chapter of Order. Legend says that the Chapter of Order and the Chapter of Chaos are lost holy relics of the God of Order. Odsinek. They have circulated throughout the world of conviction for 500 to 600 years. Their origins are mysterious, and even their author is unknown. Each contains 6 volumes and 36 chapters, representing 2 opposing forces, scattered across the world. It is said that whoever gathers all the chapters of order can reconstruct divine order and obtain immense divine power. At that point, they would become the supreme leader of all temples of light, the Great Pope. On the other hand, anyone who collects all the chapters of chaos can wield the power of chaos and bloodlust, harvesting holy blood to become a terrifying dark god king. Both are legendary items. Conviction has only recently entered open beta. And the Greenland Empire and Saturn Empire have only unlocked the first expansion pack, Dusty History. The first volume of the Chapter of Order includes the chapters of justice, kindness, courage, wisdom, fairness, and freedom. Each chapter holds tremendous power. Almost every player who obtains one rises to the top ranks of the leaderboard. In my past life, 3 guild masters built their super guilds using the Chapter of Order. Each of them had legendary feats, fighting 100 enemies alone and becoming living myths among players. Nirvana Flame's eyes sharpened. But right now, I'm probably the only one in the entire game who knows their exact locations. Perhaps in this life, I can create a myth too. In his past life, the holder of the Chapter of Justice was the guild leader of Angel Hegemony, an elf demon hunter known as Soaring Angel. When faced with an attack from hundreds of enemies, he summoned 16 Arwen Knights and single-handedly defeated the enemy's elite team. The holder of the Chapter of Wisdom was the guild leader of the Holy Adjudicator Guild, the holy mage known as the First Emperor Killer. While resisting an undead invasion, he unleashed Holy Radiance Judgment, purifying over 300 necromancers at once. He became an immortal legend within the Chapter Order. The holder of the Chapter of Courage was the guild leader of the Holy Roman Empire, the berserker known as Half-Awake Fox. During the Great Guild War, he charged alone into the enemy ranks, killing one person every 10 steps, striking down foes with twin swords and clearing out the entire enemy swarm. And here lies the buried Chapter of Courage. Just thinking about it makes my blood boil with excitement. As Nirvana Flame rushed forward, he suddenly stopped in front of several rock spiders. Then he heard something. Was that the sound of water? Looking ahead, he saw 3 rock spider leaders completely blocking the path. Without hesitation, Nirvana Flame activated his stealth skill. Slipping past them, he leapt into the water with a repelling pearl. As he swam deeper, he muttered to himself, I remember there being a hidden treasure chest here. In my past life, it wasn't discovered until the mid-game, causing huge discussions among players on the forums. As he ventured deeper, he finally spotted it, a chest covered in mud. Stopping before it, he thought, this looks like a gold treasure chest. His eyes sharpened. This emblem. It belongs to the pirates who operated in the Shinza Sea during the era of co-governance. I didn't expect to find a gold treasure chest from that time. It's even rarer than a normal gold chest. I've struck it rich. He opened the chest. Inside lay an item, Assassin's Precept dagger, unappraised. Assassin's Precept. Nirvana Flame murmured, picking it up. There's actually a dagger I've never seen before. Judging by its shape and the aura it emitted, it was at least a gold-grade item. Even if I don't find the Chapter of Courage, this trip wasn't a loss. Just then, he noticed a faint light ahead. Narrowing his eyes, he began swimming toward the glowing opening. As the water tunnel led Nirvana Flame deeper, it opened into a hidden chamber. He stepped onto solid ground, water cascading off his body as he moved forward. Standing beneath a shaft of sunlight, he looked around in awe. I never imagined such a wondrous place could exist deep within the rock spider's cave. As he walked further, something caught his eye, a silver book resting quietly ahead. Drawn to it, he approached slowly. The moment he saw it clearly, his heart raced. Finally, amidst the ruins lay a thick silver tome. The instant he picked it up, a surge of holy power flooded into his body. What is this? Curiosity overtook him as he opened the book. Its pages were filled with mysterious text, etched in shimmering tin and silver. It was a record, The Dusty History of the Pre-Heroic Era. Written jointly in Coast Hat Giant, Ancient Common, and Draconic, the knowledge flowed directly into his mind. System notifications rang out one after another. You have learned the Coast Hat Giant language. You have learned the Draconic language. You have learned the Ancient Common language. You have obtained the Co-Governance Chronology Index. Chapter of Courage, Book of Order, Volume 1, Chapter 3, Legendary Item Fragment. A powerful aura surrounded him. The holder of the Chapter of Courage is granted the inheritance of a divine soul, aided by the radiance of the gods. Level increased by 5. 2 stat points. 1 skill point. Skills acquired, Super Insight, allows the user to obtain information about a target and appraise equipment. Divine Arbitration, upon activation, grants complete magic immunity, 500 HP, and an advanced life shield that absorbs 60% of damage for 5 minutes. Cooldown, 10 natural days. Current status, January 10th. This skill can be used within dungeons. Legend says this book was once opened by the gods themselves, beings who feared no damage. Nirvana Flame stood frozen, shock written across his face. My god! What terrifying effects! No wonder half-awake Fox, who obtained the Chapter of Courage in my past life, was able to slaughter over 200 players alone. As expected of a legendary item. But his expression quickly turned serious. I'll have to be careful while grinding monsters and engaging in PvP. If I die, the Chapter of Courage will drop. Unless I can gather the first 6 chapters of the Book of Order and synthesize Volume 1. Only then will it be safe. He looked ahead, unease creeping into his thoughts. But, for such an overpowered legendary item, the system should have assigned a powerful guardian. Why hasn't it appeared yet? Why was I able to obtain the Chapter of Courage so easily? Suddenly, the ground beneath him shattered. Cracks spread rapidly across the surface as chunks of stone collapsed. Nirvana Flame struggled to keep his balance. Oh no! Gritting his teeth, he stared at the collapsing ground. It seems taking the Chapter of Courage has already alerted the Guardian. The water exit was completely blocked. Without hesitation, he leapt toward a higher cliff. No good. I have to escape immediately. Raising his hand, he activated the Weaver's Ring. With swift precision, he fired a spider thread toward the top of the cliff. The thread latched on, and he pulled himself upward with all his strength. Just as he reached the top, a massive explosion erupted behind him. Nirvana Flame looked up at the Guardian of Order. It stood tall, its entire body engulfed in raging flames. In its hands, blazing spears of fire flickered with destructive power. That is, the Guardian of the Chapter of Order? Nirvana Flame thought. The Guardian suddenly rose into the air. A system scan triggered, Guardian of Order, low intelligence, level, 100, HP, 200,000. Without hesitation, it launched multiple fire spears toward him. Nirvana Flame reacted instantly, dodging to the side. With my current level, I'd die from a single hit. He thought. I have to get back to town. At the same time, the Guardian's presence was felt in Link Town. Players froze as a wave of pressure spread through the area. What's happening? Has something been resolved? Suddenly, a system announcement echoed across the region. System announcement. A draconic creature has appeared in the southern part of the town. Unrelated players, please evacuate immediately. Panic spread among the players. What's going on? Why would a draconic creature suddenly appear here? Heavy footsteps echoed as a group of armored figures marched forward. The Holy Crusaders had arrived. The NPCs. They've all assembled. Someone exclaimed. A draconic creature has appeared. What exactly is happening? Another player said, fear evident in his voice. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame sprinted toward the town at full speed. He glanced back, and his heart sank. Oh no, it's locked onto me. The draconic creature fixed its gaze on him. Without hesitation, Nirvana Flame activated a haste scroll. Speed 20%, he pushed his body to its limit, running as fast as he could. A massive burst of flame shot toward him. He dodged at the last second, but the edge of the attack still grazed him. His HP dropped sharply. Gritting his teeth, he muttered, I'm almost there. Just a little longer. He raised his hand and activated the Weaver's Ring again. A spider thread shot forward, latching onto a nearby tree. Using the momentum, he swung himself ahead, instantly gaining distance before continuing his sprint. Above him, the draconic creature opened its mouth once more, gathering flames into a blazing sphere, preparing another devastating attack. Suddenly, an arrow pierced through the air and struck the creature. The draconic beast roared in fury, its attention shifting. Players in the distance erupted with relief. Great! The NPCs have made their move. On a nearby high ground stood a warlord, Nisad, his bow still raised after the shot. One of the soldiers beside him spoke urgently. Lord Warlord Nisad, the defensive line has been established. Please give the order. Nisad's gaze remained fixed on the draconic creature as he lowered his bow slightly. Let these evil and foolish dragons receive the judgment of the Crusades. The draconic creature flew through the sky at full speed, blazing like a living inferno as it descended upon the town. A player shouted in terror, "It's coming over here!" The draconic creature suddenly stopped in midair. Flames burned fiercely around its body while it held a blazing spear in its hand. Then, with a furious roar, it activated Blazing Meteor. Countless massive meteors appeared across the sky, each one engulfed in fire. The players stared upward in disbelief. Is this really a skill we can contend with? At that moment, the system alarm echoed throughout the town. Town Level 1 emergency alarm. Draconic creature invasion. Panic instantly spread everywhere. Hurry! Run away! We're going to die! Players fled in fear as chaos consumed the streets. Meanwhile, the warlord Nisad held his bow firmly and shouted an order to his soldiers. Activate the basic protective barrier. A massive barrier immediately formed around the tower. The blazing meteors crashed against it one after another. Explosions shook the earth violently, yet the shield endured the assault. Seeing this, the players cried out in relief. A protective shield. Great! Nisad quickly raised his hand again. All soldiers, attack! The soldiers drew their bows simultaneously and aimed at the draconic creature. Thousands of arrows shot through the air like a storm. Just as the arrows were about to strike, a huge wave of holy magic rose from below and slammed directly into the creature's chest. Someone shouted excitedly, "The Holy Crusaders are mighty!" The draconic creature roared in rage. Its furious scream shook the heavens as it dispersed the remaining magic spells instantly. Then it dove downward at full speed. Boom! The creature smashed directly into the barrier, shattering it completely before crashing into the ground below. Watching the scene unfold, Nirvana Flame thought calmly. Although the appearance of the Guardian of Order had thrown the vast majority of players into panic, there were still a few people watching like hungry tigers staring at their prey. They were simply waiting for the NPCs to weaken the monster before rushing in to snatch the equipment. Actually, those people look very familiar. They are members of the Resplendent Temple Guild. That man is Star of Splendor, the guild leader of Resplendent Temple, level 52, holder of the Stat of Splendor. He's quite loyal, and in my past life we had some connections. Nirvana Flame's gaze shifted toward another group. That is Li Ma Heng Dao, the guild leader of the Dark Massacre Guild, level 50. That guy is full of hooliganism and definitely not a good person. Then his eyes landed on another familiar figure. Half-awake Fox. The holder of courage from my past life? A pity. In this life, I obtained it before him. Star of Splendor turned his eyes toward Li Ma Heng Dao and spoke coldly. Li Ma Heng Dao, with our Resplendent Temple here, your Dark Massacre Guild should step aside. He smirked confidently before continuing, don't look so unconvinced. I leveled up 5 times before you did, and I already sent a team to clear the Treant Forest and the Black Flame Forest ahead of time. You can't surpass me. Li Ma Heng Dao merely sneered in response. So what if your Resplendent Temple cleared the Black Flame Forest? Your completion rating was only 68%. Your guild's glory points are barely 200 higher than ours. It won't take long for us to catch up. One of his subordinates shouted angrily. Damn it, what are you acting arrogant for? Boss, let's fight them and kill them all. Meanwhile, high in the air, the draconic creature continued enduring the endless barrage of magic attacks. Below, the players were already on the verge of fighting each other over the expected loot. A direct magical strike finally slammed into the draconic creature, sending it crashing to the ground. Its massive body destroyed countless buildings along the way. At the same time, Warlord Nisad quickly activated another protective barrier around himself. The moment the draconic creature rushed toward him, it smashed directly into the barrier once again. Nisad immediately raised his bow and muttered solemnly. For the glory of the Holy Crusaders. In the name of Warlord Nisad, I pass judgment upon the evil dragon race. Dark power gathered around the bowstring as he released a powerful piercing arrow. The dark magic arrow shot forward instantly and pierced straight through the draconic creature's body. Its HP rapidly dropped, 87,829. 23,104. 0. The draconic creature let out one final roar before collapsing lifelessly. Seeing this, the players exploded into chaos. The Guardian of Order is out of HP. Hurry and snatch the equipment. Star of Splendor's eyes immediately locked onto the dropped items. Li Ma Heng Dao also smirked greedily as his gaze shifted toward the treasure. Even half-awake Fox narrowed his eyes and prepared to move. Do it! All of them rushed forward at the same time. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame activated his stealth skill and silently charged toward the loot as well. One red-haired man stretched out his hand toward an item and shouted excitedly, "It's mine!" Suddenly, a burst of fire struck him directly. "Damn it!" he cursed in shock. Half-awake Fox immediately shouted, "Stop them!" He dashed forward at incredible speed while the red-haired man clapped behind him excitedly. Half-awake Fox smirked as he reached toward the item. "The item is mine!" But in the next instant, dark shadows wrapped around his arms and legs, immobilizing him completely. A cold voice echoed from behind him. "Don't even think about it." Immobilizer! Taking advantage of the opportunity, Li Ma Heng Dao and Star of Splendor rushed past half-awake Fox and moved closer to the loot. Li Ma Heng Dao smirked confidently as he prepared to grab the item first. At that moment, Nirvana Flame held up his 3-bow machine and thought calmly, "It seems I won't be able to snatch the equipment anymore. Since that's the case, I might as well go with the flow." He instantly fired several arrows toward Li Ma Heng Dao. Li Ma Heng Dao quickly dodged the attack. Using that brief opening, Star of Splendor successfully grabbed the item dropped by the draconic creature. He then turned toward Nirvana Flame and smiled. "Thanks, brother." Nirvana Flame simply looked at him and muttered, "What a pity. I didn't get anything. Let's go." However, Li Ma Heng Dao's expression darkened with rage. "Kid, you think you can just leave that easily?" All of his subordinates immediately gathered around Nirvana Flame and prepared for battle. Nirvana Flame calmly looked at them and asked, "What? You guys want to make me stay?" Star of Splendor coldly stepped forward. "Li Ma Heng Dao, he's my friend. If you want to cause trouble for him, first ask whether the people of Resplendent Temple agree." The members of Resplendent Temple also gathered behind their guild leader. "We, the Resplendent Temple Guild, are not afraid of your Dark Massacre Guild." Li Ma Heng Dao suddenly laughed coldly. "Good. Very good." His eyes turned sharp with killing intent. "Today, none of you should even think about leaving alive." The Fox Guild leader laughed and muttered, "Looks like there's nothing left for me to do here." A member of the Fox Guild, Flying Stone, spoke to the leader. "That thief is the expert I was telling you about, Nirvana Flame. He's the one who gave me the guide to the fallen shaman camp." Hearing that, the Fox Guild leader looked toward Nirvana Flame and replied, "You could already tell from the way he snatched that equipment just now. This guy's skills are definitely the real deal." Flying Stone then asked, "Boss, what should we do?" The Fox Guild leader smiled happily and said, "Hey, brother Nirvana Flame. Our Holy Roman Empire Guild is heading to the Augment Mud Swamp in a few days. Are you interested in coming along?" Hearing those words, the leader of the Dark Massacre Guild turned his gaze toward the half-awake Sleepy Fox. At the same time, the leader of the Star of Splendor Guild also looked in his direction. As Nirvana Flame saw this, he thought to himself, "So it's Flying Stone. I figured he belonged to the Holy Roman Empire Guild." Then he calmly replied, "No problem, but I have one condition. I get first pick of any thief equipment or usable items that drop in the dungeon." The surrounding players immediately began whispering among themselves, "Is that kid crazy? Can't he read the room? He actually dares to make demands of Sleepy Fox at a time like this? Who does he think he is? What if they decide not to help him? But why did that guild leader invite him to the dungeon run in the first place?" One of Sleepy Fox's subordinates frowned and said, "Boss, he's going a bit too far. We're the ones bailing him out, yet he still dares to set conditions. Talk about arrogant." Sleepy Fox merely smirked and replied, "You're right. This kid is definitely arrogant. Before this, I didn't really believe he was an expert, but now I'm convinced. Anyone who dares to speak so boldly usually has the skills to back it up." He then turned toward Nirvana Flame and said, "No problem. If brother Nirvana Flame is willing to come, you'll get first pick of all thief equipment." The crowd was instantly shocked. "No way. Seriously? Just who exactly is this kid to make even Sleepy Fox agree to terms like that?" One of the subordinates from the Dark Massacre Guild stepped toward his leader and whispered, "Boss, our current situation is a bit awkward. We can't possibly fight against two guilds at the same time." Sleepy Fox then looked at Drawn Sword and politely said, "Brother Drawn Sword, do me a favor and let this go. Let's call it a day." Drawn Sword coldly replied, "Since guild leader Sleepy Fox has spoken, we'll let it slide." He then turned around and ordered his subordinates, "Let's go." As the Dark Massacre Guild departed, the leader of the Star of Splendor Guild walked over to Nirvana Flame and said, "Brother, I didn't expect you to have ties with the leader of the Holy Roman Empire Guild. Thank you for your help today. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to obtain this piece of equipment." Nirvana Flame smiled lightly. "No, you're overthinking it." Sleepy Fox then looked toward Radiant Star and asked, "Brother Radiant Star, did you get a good haul today?" Radiant Star checked the blue system screen in front of him and sighed. "Don't even mention it. This equipment is actually pretty useless. System notification: Stout Armor of Courage. Quality: Gold grade. Level requirement: 100. Attributes: Defense 605. Counter 15. Reflect 15. Seeing the stats, Sleepy Fox commented, although it's a very rare gold grade set piece, it requires level 100 to equip. How long will that even take? Radiant Star nodded helplessly. Yeah. Everyone's level is still way too low right now. Even if we threw it into a shop, nobody would buy it. Looks like it'll just sit in the guild treasury as a trophy piece. Meanwhile, Flying Stone walked over to Nirvana Flame with a cheerful smile. Expert, we meet again. Looks like we'll finally get to run a dungeon together next time. Nirvana Flame replied, yeah. Thanks for your help this time. Sleepy Fox then said, Brother Nirvana Flame, let's add each other as friends. I'll contact you when it's time for the dungeon. Radiant Star quickly added me too. System notification: you have added player Sleepy Fox as a friend. You have added player Radiant Star as a friend. Nirvana Flame smiled inwardly. To think that in this life, I'd accidentally end up befriending them. He then waved his hand toward the two guild leaders and said with a smile, since everything here is settled, I'll be taking my leave. See you next time. After leaving the area, Nirvana Flame finally had time to inspect the dagger he had obtained. System notification: Transient Insight, Assassin's Precept, Offhand Weapon Quality, Gold Grade, Level Requirement 5, Attributes, Attack 28. Strength 16. Accuracy 12. Nirvana Flame smirked. It's an offhand weapon. As expected of gold grade equipment, it provides more than 30 points of attack at only level 5. Once I reach level 5 and learn dual wielding, my damage output will increase massively. The scene shifted to Telek Town, specifically the teleportation point. Standing there, Nirvana Flame thought to himself, there's still half an hour of game time left. I should use this chance to finish Dr. Blevins' quest. A moment later, he teleported to the Merfolk village. As soon as he arrived, Nirvana Flame frowned slightly. The Merfolk village has already been destroyed. The victorious return guild sure moved fast. He glanced toward the nearby solo players. Those players should still have some fine silk on them. I don't have much time left. It'll be faster to buy the silk directly from them. The scene then shifted to the heart of the lake island. Nirvana Flame approached Dr. Blevins, who was calmly fishing beside the river. Respectfully, he said, Honorable Doctor. Dr. Blevins looked up at him and asked, Young man, you've returned. How did the task I entrusted to you go? Nirvana Flame nodded and replied, I found them. Here are the 90 pieces of fine silk you requested. I hope they will be of use to you. System notification: you have lost 90 fine silk. After receiving the silk, Dr. Blevins smiled happily. I've finally gathered enough fine silk. Tomorrow, I can return to Hilton Stronghold. The brave warriors stationed there will remember what you have done for them. He then raised his head toward the sky and spoke solemnly. May the holy light bless you, generous and kind adventurer. Darkness will eventually be eradicated, and the light shall one day cover the entire world. System notification: Hilton Stronghold reputation increased by 11. Nirvana Flame respectfully replied, May the gods protect the warriors stationed at Hilton Stronghold. After putting away the silk, Dr. Blevins handed several items to Nirvana Flame. Please accept these as a token of my heartfelt gratitude, generous adventurer. May your journey be safe. System notification: you have gained 16,523 experience points. You have obtained Swift Evasion Boots, Gold Grade. Swift Evasion Boots Quality, Gold Grade. Level Requirement 5. Attributes: Defense 20, Movement Speed 12. Seeing the equipment stats, Nirvana Flame was shocked. It's actually a piece of gold grade equipment. Suddenly, a system announcement echoed throughout the game world. System announcement: server shutdown in 1 minute. Players, please prepare to log off. Looking at his status screen, Nirvana Flame muttered, My experience bar is already at 98%. Too bad there's not enough game time left today. I'll just have to level up tomorrow. As the system countdown reached 0, Nirvana Flame slowly closed his eyes. The next moment, he returned to the real world. Removing his gaming helmet, he immediately began exercising while deep in thought. Not only do I need to become stronger in the game, but I also need to improve myself in the real world. In this life, I can't afford to slack off even a little. After a brief pause, his eyes sharpened with determination. Perhaps I should find a martial arts dojo and use their equipment to test my current strength. Nie Yan arrived at the Lin family martial arts dojo. Inside the dojo, he selected a training card and said, I'll take a 2-hour card. At the reception desk, the woman recognized him immediately. As she handed him the card, she asked, Did you come here specifically looking for me? Don't think that just because you wrote me a love letter once, I'd actually be interested in you. She was Lin Jia, Nie Yan's former classmate. She continued arrogantly, I already made it very clear to you. Stop pestering me. Nie Yan remained silent. He simply grabbed the card and walked away. Lin Jia muttered disdainfully. His family owes 5 or 600,000. What a poor loser. Debt collectors come knocking on his door every day. His parents disappeared who knows where, and yet he still has the leisure to come work out here. Just then, a young man beside her asked Jia, "Who was that guy?" Lin Jia held his arm and replied, "Just a classmate of mine. He's complete trash. The only thing decent about him is his academic grades." Meanwhile, Nie Yan walked over to the pull force testing machine. He gripped the handle tightly and pulled with all his strength. The machine displayed 162 kilograms. Seeing the result, Nie Yan muttered, "Compared to my past life, this number is still far too low. However, considering my current body, it's not bad at all." He then moved to the weight-bearing test machine, using his full strength once again. The display showed 155 kilograms. The young man stared at him in shock. "Hey, what are you looking at?" Lin Jia asked impatiently. The guy replied in disbelief, "I'm looking at your classmate." Lin Jia glanced at Nie Yan and scoffed. "What's there to look at? He's just a skinny monkey." At that moment, Nie Yan stepped in front of the punching machine. He clenched his fist and threw a powerful punch. Bang! The impact echoed throughout the dojo, causing everyone to freeze for a moment. The young man stared in complete shock. Even Lin Jia's eyes widened in disbelief. Nie Yan calmly flexed his fist, completely unfazed by everyone's reactions. After finishing his training, he returned the card to the counter. Lin Jia, now clearly impressed, blushed slightly and said, "Brother Nie, these 2 hours are on the house. Also, this is the bonus reward for breaking the dojo's record. 26,000 in total." Nie Yan accepted the bonus card with a faint smile. "Thanks." Inside, he thought, "I didn't expect to get a bonus just for breaking a record." Lin Jia blushed even harder and asked shyly, "Brother Nie, I'm free tonight. Would you like to have a drink with me at Night Dream?" Nie Yan replied coldly, "Sorry. Not interested." Without another word, he turned and left. Lin Jia stood there in shock before gritting her teeth angrily. What's he acting so arrogant for? As if this lady would wait for him anyway. After leaving the dojo, Nie Yan headed to the shopping mall. While shopping, he thought, now that I have this bonus money, I won't have to worry about this month's nutrient solutions. After purchasing several nutrient solutions, he returned home. That night, beneath the bright full moon, Nie Yan picked up his gaming helmet and logged into the game. The moment he entered the virtual world, he muttered, "I already obtained the Featherfall Jewel earlier. My next goal is to reach level 4 and then raid the famous elite monster, Lion King Kato." Inside the game, Nirvana Flames swiftly slaughtered water spiders with his dagger. One spider after another fell beneath his attacks. Soon, a flash of light surrounded him. "I've finally reached level 4. He exclaimed. "Just one more level, and I'll be able to equip my new weapon. Defeating Lion King Kato should be enough to push me to level 5. However, before fighting him, I still need to make some preparations." Nirvana Flame immediately used a return scroll and teleported away. A moment later, he arrived at the Kalor City auction house. As he entered, he thought, if I remember correctly, the opening of the SOS Valley dungeon is approaching fast. Many large guilds will definitely head there to clear it. The werewolves inside possess terrifying poison in their claws, meaning the price of black phenol potions, which cure that poison, will skyrocket overnight. Walking up to the auction house clerk, he said, "Hello? Give me 9 quivers of poison arrows. Also, I want all the black phenol potions and every black phenol potion recipe you have." The clerk stared at him in shock. "All of them." "Customer, are you sure?" Nirvana Flame folded his arms confidently. "That's right. All of them." After completing the transaction, the clerk happily waved goodbye. "Please come again next time." As Nirvana Flame left the auction house, a smile appeared on his face. "It seems the fortune from the black phenol potions belongs to me now." After teleporting back to Moto Town, a smile appeared on Nirvana Flame's face. Activating his movement skill, he dashed forward at incredible speed. Moments later, he landed on top of a steep cliff overlooking Crimson Dream Hills near Moto Town. As he spotted Lion King Kato in the distance, Nirvana Flame narrowed his eyes and thought, as expected of an elite monster. Even the wild bison leader can't compare to its massive health pool. He glanced down from the edge of the cliff and muttered, "Right here." Without hesitation, he jumped off the cliff. The Featherfall Jewel activated instantly. Using its active skill, his body became as light as a feather, greatly reducing the force of gravity as he descended through the air. With the Featherfall Jewel, Nirvana Flame thought, the silk thread from the silk spinner's ring won't snap under my weight. He raised his hand and activated the silk spinner's ring. A strand of spider silk shot outward and attached itself firmly to a nearby tree branch, leaving Nirvana Flame suspended safely in midair. This will allow me to reach a glitched spot no player has ever discovered before, he thought confidently. While hanging from the spider silk, Nirvana Flame steadied himself and drew out his triple bow machine. A faint smile crossed his face. Let the raid begin. He loaded poison arrows into the weapon. Poison arrows deals 9 points of poison damage per hit 1,000 arrows per quiver.